Sure. Shalom, everyone. Sorry, running a little late. All right, welcome to Uncle Yahshua 25 to Life Tales. Another one, we about to get started. All right, let go.
This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua.
Rolling down 109 in a truck. On my ride up to the light, that's what's up. Look to my right and it's a ride rolling up. It's Lucci telling me tonight we in the club. He got the 24 road Escalating. He got the Lamborghini doors like they blades. His hammers ring cause that's how he was raised. His colors mobbing tonight we get
I'm from the ghetto, the slums, the rats, the roaches, the bums, the metal that stuns, the addicts, the cracks, the crumbs. The level where funds gets tragic and lavish is none. With rebels, they runs and rabbits like savages' sons. With did him and bigger and swiftly he shined the mug. That city a pity with 50 took 9 of them slugs. This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua.
All right. Welcome all. Louis V in the building. Jim Pops, Connecticut in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yadasa, Zayana, Yashara La, Brianna, Mariah, Alina, daughter of Yahya, Haknan, Rayad, Mariam. Shout out to everybody in the building right now. Pardon me for being a little late. Louis V, that's what's up. Peace, Louis V. Jim Pop in the building. All right, let go. All right, guys. So today I got a story. It's a personal one because it was really tragic for me, man. It was really bad. I'm going to grab. I'm also going to be grabbing. Shout out to Atsaya and Diana. I'm going to also grab a picture because I got y'all know y'all know I like to do the receipts, right? Y'all know this channel 25 to Life Tales. It's all about the receipts here, right? So let me try to find my receipt really quick while I prep y'all for this story. But this story, man, story is crazy, man. It like it affected me for a while. It was I learned like a life lesson from it. What I really got, this story here is when I started to learn kind of guys to control my emotions more, because I'm really a calm dude. I really don't mess with nobody, but like some of the calm dudes, those are the ones that you really don't want to mess with, meaning like my top would blow and then it's like no calling me back. Like I would like lose control of myself. And we know, guys, a foolish man is a man who loses control of himself, you know, through any type of emotion, anger, bitterness, any type of emotion, trauma. You're letting another spirit take over you. So I used to I used to lose it. Like I was in control all the time, but when someone crossed me to the point where I kind of snap a little, I used to snap a little, I would lose it. And this incident that I'm about to show you tonight was one incident when I realized I really had to get control of that. I really did. It was really bad. I was like, I have to get control of this, otherwise, like I'm gonna lose my life. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. Yeah, this was a marker. It was a very important marker in my life for me to like try to stay consciously focused when I'm being, you know, challenged to a certain level or disrespected as well. Because a wise man, militarily speaking, stays conscious of all of his environments, regardless to his emotions and regardless to any outside influence. He stays in control and always stays focused. But the man who just snaps and loses it, he doesn't keep control of his environment. He's not in total control at all times, because the thing that's affecting him has him like lose it. So if he's going against another person who who stays control in the moment, that other person's going to be victorious over that situation, because we're always called to stay focused and control. You know, especially the men, because the men, when it gets really crazy, we have to cover the women and children, right? So if you have a household and you're being attacked in a certain sense, if you are freaking out and she freaking out, then who's covering the house, right? Imagine some home invaders come in and you like, ah, and she like, ah, and both of y'all running and screaming, then you both gonna lose it. You're both gonna lose it. So the man has to stay focused and in charge. Or if a woman is by herself, you women, y'all need to learn this as well. The daughters of the Most High, y'all need to learn this as well. That if you got a household by yourself, you're a single parent or something, staying focused and non-emotional is the key to surviving any situation. You know what I mean? That's a whole fact. So let me see something. I see the comments over here. Let me see something, because I do got a statement for the comments. There you go. Charles Coleman. He said he got his dose of that intro. So Charles, I did this especially for you and everybody. Shout out Mike Mill. Shout out Anthony Sweeney. Shout out. All right. So he said me and Tanner called that seeing red. Yeah, seeing red. That thing will get you in trouble. Charles Coleman, and for everybody else who wait, I got y'all. I've been working on the song. So next Thursday, I'm gonna release the full music video to the intro song, Rolling Down 109. And I got an extra treat since I made y'all wait so long. So guys, I got an extra treat for you, Charles, and everybody else who like that music. Y'all gonna really like this extra treat. So I'm gonna release the full video for Rolling Down 109, and then I'll have the place where y'all can access the song at and all that, so y'all can have it for y'all personal. But then I got an extra treat to go along with it for me making y'all wait so long. All right, so yeah, so I got you guys. I was working on it. Would have been tonight. It was gonna be tonight, but my extra bonus treat, I gotta find it. I've been searching and searching. Look, I can show y'all. It's right here on my desk. Look, the spindle of CDs from 1990. That song was made in 2006 or 5. I think 6. That ain't a new song, and it's cracking. Look, another spindle of CDs. I got CDs all around. I'm trying to find this joint that I'm gonna put with the rolling, and y'all gonna love it. I got a whole, so my book and my stories, I got a timeline of music that goes with each year. What I'm telling, each song, I got albums that go with each year. Y'all gonna, man, they crazy crack. So even the 109, I got a story. So when I release, okay guys, next week when I release the 109 music video, I'm gonna tell the story of when we made the 109 in Queens. That's that song y'all like in the studio, and what was going on because we was it's crazy. So that's why I said that's one of the treats that I got coming with the release of the song next week. I got the story behind the song as well. Yeah, and that 109 thing is when we was messing with for a time I was messing with Dipset. This is back when Jim Jones and Cameron and them, when they was on top of the world. Remember, we talking back in 2006, 2005, 2000, Dipset was on top. You know what I mean? Dipset was on top of the world. So Unc was signed to Dipset. So my 25 to life story, I had a 15 to life, and then I came home before I got the 25 to life. In between the 15 to life and the 25 to life, well, before the 15 to life, we had a record deal with Dipset. Right, that was Palace Mob, P-Mob Gang. Y'all gonna know what that is. That's why she said it's Palace Mob, and tonight we in the truck. So she said rolling down 109 in a truck, and she said it's Palace Mob, and tonight we getting bugged. Something she said. I wrote it anyway, but I'm gonna tell that story. So y'all gonna learn who Palace Mob is. P-Mob Gang. That was my crew. It was 3 of us, me, E Banger, and Rental. And right, so we had the deal. But then now this is funny. So y'all gonna learn this next week. But when we had the record deal with Dipset and all that, right? Through Luca Brasi, though, through the general, through the soldiers. We was coming in through the soldiers. No disrespect to the rappers, but we weren't coming in through the rappers. we was coming in through the muscle. Luca, anybody who know about that history, shout out to Agyana. Shout KD Kid, what's good? Yes, what's good? So we was coming in through Luca Brasi, right? Y'all know what's the name? For those who don't know a little bit of that history, y'all know Jim, what's his name? Joel Santana always say Luch. They always shouting him out. I know his name was Luch and my name was Luch. Well, y'all don't know that. My name was Lucky Luciano back then. So anyway, y'all gonna learn that story. Some of that next week. So we had a record deal with Dipset then, and then I got locked up for the 15 to Life, and it was my record label. And we was doing the subsidiary Platinum Palace was our record label, and we was the Palace Mob from P-Mob from Platinum Palace. So anyway, y'all learn that. So then after the 15 to Life, I beat the 15 to Life. I took it to United States Supreme Court, hired a Johnny Crocker and Laura team, over $100,000 spent. I got receipts for all that. Y'all know. So then in between the 15 to Life, before I got locked up they got me again for the 25, that's when I was getting signed to Dipset, and I wasn't with Palace Mob no more because one of the dudes in the Palace Mob actually kind of snitched on me in the case. So y'all it's a crazy, that 25 Life story is crazy. And so anyway, the Rolling 109 was when I made that song, it was in between when I wasn't messing with P-Mob no more, and I sent E-Banger back to North Carolina, and I was just doing it alone, and that's why I'm on that song alone, right? So all right. So anyway, that's coming next week. Y'all it's dope. What's coming on next week? Yes, Mike Mill. I definitely got some Master 4 classes coming. That's the beginning of hip hop joint. Facts. All right. So now, I'm trying to, I didn't find, I want to find this picture because I want to find a receipt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start the story. And then I guess at the end of it, I would have wanted to show the picture at the beginning so y'all can have the visual of what's going down. I don't think y'all could really see it if I show it. Now I see y'all can't really see it a little bit, but there's a line that's going right here. It goes all the way around. It goes, see, I can't really see it. It goes into here, and then it goes all the way around here. So you see this mark right here? Y'all can see that a little bit. That's a mark. That's where it starts. It cuts here, and it goes around, and it goes inside my palm, and it cuts all the way around, and it goes all the way down to here. Y'all can see a little bit, but I got the picture of blood all over it when I meant to find it, guys, before, but I was working, doing our ministry and doing all this stuff, and then I got tired, and I'm like, all right, I already know what story I'm gonna tell. I put the premiere up, and I'm like, let me go to bed. And right now, when I was washing up, I was like, I didn't find the picture to put it up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell the story because I know y'all won't, we live. Y'all ain't gonna wait for me to find it. I tried to find it while I was talking, but it wasn't in those two folders that I went. I went to my old folders, my old family stuff, and my upbringing folders. I'm gonna check my documentary folder for the Bismarcky documentary. But if I can't find it, I just got to tell the story, and then I don't know. At the end of the story, I can try to find it again. But let me scan right now really quickly through the Bismarck documentary folder because I'm like, maybe I put it in there because a lot of my history in that folder. I don't know, man. Man, that sucks because I really want y'all to see the picture. But anyway, I'm about to get started. I didn't see it there either. I didn't see it. Nope, I don't see it because it stands out. It's a bloody, it's a picture. Y'all can see the wound of this story. All right. So anyway, this story takes place in let me see, where am I at? Do I got my block? Am I in full-fledged in my block? I don't really remember. But anyway, I was getting it. So I live in at this point, I live in Jamaica, Queens. I live on Farmers Boulevard and Linden Boulevard, or close to the Farmers and Baisley Boulevard. Y'all heard about Baisley from 50 Cent and Supreme Team, Baisley Projects, Supreme Team. So it's right up the street, basically. It's a long street, Baisley. It's the beginning of Baisley that connects to Farmers Boulevard, and then you're going down to Southside. So I'm living on Farmers and 119th, right by Baisley, Farmers in Baisley, and then Linden is Linden Boulevard, and Farmers is the next corner. For those from Queens, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm living in Farmers. I'm running my street out on Long Island, right? So in Hempstead and Parkside Projects, most of the stories were my shootouts and all that, my block. But you remember back then, well, sensical was you don't lay your head where you're getting your hustle on. You know what I mean? So I always lived in different parts of Queens. This part I'm in Farmers, because if I'm hustling in my projects and Parkside Projects, I'm not going to be living in Hempstead. You know what I mean? I'm be living in a whole different police precinct, a whole different district. I was smart, you know what I mean, to a certain extent, but not smart enough not to hustle. You know what I mean? It was just our reality back then. This is the crack era. This is like this year is like 90 something, early 90, 92, 93, 90 something. So anyway, back then I always kept different, I always kept 3 or more cars, right? Usually 4 or 5 at a time, always. So I always would have like a big car for me and my girl and my kids would go out in, like a big Mercedes or something. This is back in the days, it's early 90s, right? And then I would have a different car, maybe a BMW, and then I would have maybe what you call it, a domestic car, not a foreign, maybe like a Caddy or something like that. But one thing I always kept was a little hoopty. I call it hoop. So my hoopty, most people hoopties back then was buckets and bangers. Buckets, what they call raggedy cars, your little raggedy joint. I don't know what they call it. Nowadays, I'm a little older, so I don't know what they call the hoopties or the buckets or the bangers, those old raggedy cars. So my hoopties, and then the funny thing, my hoopties graduated to be like a 3 Series BMW or a 3 Series Mercedes or the little Mercedes truck or something. That became my hoopty. See, the more money you would get, the less value. Like, okay, so because I became a multimillionaire. Y'all gonna learn that story too. That's when I got locked up and all that. So and I got receipts, all that. Receipts for everything. I showed y'all all my houses and stuff so that I own. So when you get like, so put it like this, when I was a millionaire, $1,000 was like $1 to me. Meaning I would spend $1,000 like normally, like right now, because right now I'm poor. Like I'm regular. I ain't got no millions, none of that no more, right? So I'm a regular man. So $1,000 to me back then was like me spending $1 right now. So I would spend 1,000 easily. So that's why with rich people, that's why they spend like $20,000, $30,000 on a pocketbook or a coat or a suit or something. You'd be like, well, really, $1,000 is like $100. I'm sorry, not like $1. It's like spending $100 right now. So that's why they would spend $20,000 or $30,000. That's like them spending $300 to us. See, a $300 purchase, you feel it a little bit. You know what I mean? You like, all right, I'm gonna buy something for $300, a pair of sneakers or something that you want. You know what I mean? If you regular like me, you regular Joe Smo, you'll feel it a little bit. But when you're a millionaire, when you're getting a lot of money in the millions, that $300 is literally $3,000. You know what I mean? It's like spending 3 G's. So that's the reality of it. So I was saying it because later, as I got bigger as a hustler, like my hoopties, my raggedy, my buckets became Mercedes and BMWs, just a small version. So my car might be a 500, right? And then my hoopty will be a 3 Series BMW, which would be someone's beautiful car. Just different levels. It blew my mind the way it worked. Once I became an actual millionaire, I'm like, dang, it's crazy. It messes with your mind, whatever. So at this time, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm getting it. I'm on my block and stuff. So my hoopties at this time, they had these little cars that came out back then. This is 92, 93, whatever, way back in the days. They had these little cars that came in. They were called, I know they're still around. Shout out to Paul P, Connecticut in the building. They were called Hyundai. They were this one Hyundai, the HYUND cars, first drop Hyundai. they had these little cars called Hyundai Excel, right? Little cars, right? And they had a two-door version that was a hatchback, right? So the little, and when you open the door, it goes ding, ding. They used to play this little sound. They used to play this little melody when you open the door. Now the little two-door ones were cute. Now if you take the little two-door ones and throw some little rims on it, and like I would throw some, we call them stick outs. So I would throw some little stick outs on it. So that means the dish is kind of deep and it stick out a little from the car. So it look aggressive, like it got muscles, right? So if you take one of those, tin it out, and then it's a hatchback, so you could throw you some 215s and throw you some bump in it and throw you some little stick outs on it. Yeah, that was my hoopty, right? So I always kept a hoopty, and then all the levels. I always kept about 3 or 4 cars at all times, right? Everybody know that. If you Negro said, well, y'all know these from my other stories. So anyway, I am shout out Seattle in the building, Mike Mills, Seattle, Washington in the building. So I at this time I had a dark blue, one of the little Hyundai Excels, these hatchback joints, right, with crazy black tints, right. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy my girl, my baby mom's, the the one from the story. If y'all watched the story on my channel when it said her moms came with the and also the story when we almost shot our baby girl. I almost did, when I was playing with the gun and one was in the chamber and it shot across my baby girl's crib. That ex, my ex. So she I was ready to buy her a car, right? So she used to share my cars, right? So I'm ready to buy her a car. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get her own whip. So I think this is my first time buying her a car. Oh, the one in the other story, the same one in the story with when I bought her the white Mercedes truck, and she tried to stab me and all that when I was naked. Yeah, that same. So this is way before that. So this is I'm ready to buy her first car at all, her first car, right? Because she used to drive my joints. So I looked in the paper and I found a pretty silver Hyundai Excel two-door hatch. So it was in Springfield, Queens. I got a story about Springfield too, and Tommy Montana, the famous OG. Those who know, most of y'all for 25 to Life, y'all know the stories of Supreme Team, and y'all know who Tony Montana is. Tommy Montana. I got a personal story I'm gonna tell about Tommy Montana. Not too many people got no stories about him. All right. So anyway, he used to run Laurelton, and not Springfield. He used to run Laurelton. So sorry, no, I didn't go to Springfield. I'm mixing up. I went to Laurelton, Queens, to get the car. So anyway, so they used to call it L.A. Queens. That's where that rapper Mikey D was from. L.A. Queens. I got a story about L.A. Queens. So I thank you, Yashiyaha. Oh, my aunt is here. Shout out to Yashiyaha from Canada. Shalom. All right, Amar. Shout out to you too, Amar. So I found this car. It was in Laurelton, Queens. So I hooked it up. So I go to, I take my girl with me and we go to check out the car. Now, I was searching for this car for the longest, but the only one that I found was it was a stick shift, right? It was a 4-speed, right? So I'm like, crap. But now my girl, she don't know how to drive a 4-speed. But it was nobody was selling the cars. Everybody who had it, and I wanted the two-door hatch because I wanted to I knew what I was going to do. I was going to throw some rims. I wanted to hook it up, right? For my shorty. I knew I was going to drive it sometime too. You know what I mean? I like to switch up. You know what I mean? Come through the hood in the silver one. It's like, ooh, got another one. Like, you know what I mean? So I was always known I was a car dude. So anyway, so I take her with me. We go, because if I'm going to buy it, then we got to drive the other car that I'm buying. So I meet the dude. So the car is crispy, though. Crispy. I mean, this thing looked like it's brand new. So I meet the dude and he's like, yeah, I bought this car for my wife and she never drove it. She really don't like driving the stick. So I tried to teach her, but she still didn't like it. So it really just sat in the garage. You know what I mean? So the car is one of those cars that like they never drove. So it was like brand new shiny silver, brand new interior. I was like, this car is like, oh, I loved it, right? So I bought the car. So I tried to train, my ex. I tried to train her to drive the stick. She was tearing my clutch up. For those who know about driving a stick, she was tearing my clutch apart. I'm like, dude, you tearing. I'm like, you know what? This car is too pretty. So I was like, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you the blue one, and I'm gonna just drive the silver one. And and then I'll over time I'll teach you how to drive the stick. Once you get it, then I can give you the silver one. Cause you're like, I want the silver one because it's so pretty. I understand that too. Why she did, I did too. I wanted it, right? So bang, she was like, all right, cool. So I gave her the blue one. So now the silver one is mine, right? So I had it for a minute. Now this is when I got my block in the stories that I'm telling on Parkside. I got my block. I'm owning my own, my drug block. So I go back and forth to Queens, right? From Queens to Long Island over at night. Remember, my block is 12 a.m. to 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, the car was kind of sitting there because I needed to get it inspected. So for people in other states, New York, I'm quite sure they still got it. I ain't been home in a while. New York City got it. New York is a state that have car inspections. So you got to get your car inspected. You need an inspection sticker on your windshield. So the cops will look, make sure you got an update inspection sticker. I don't even know if they still do that, right? So I needed to get the car inspected, right? So I wasn't driving it. So, but I knew it was going to pass inspection. That's the thing. You got to pass inspection, right? So I knew it was going to pass inspection because the car was flawless. I mean, the car was like brand new. So ain't no emissions problems, ain't no problem. So I know only thing I had to do is go down there, let them run the inspection thing, get my sticker, and I'm straight, right? So now I remember I woke up. Now, my girl, she worked on Long Island too, but she worked in Levittown by the jail out there. And she in the story when we was little kids, when those crazy racist white people chased us from the Jets. So they were coming from Levittown. That was the most racist in East Meadow. So she worked out there. She took care of a white guy. He was like was in a car accident, whatever, like one of the private nurses. So she drove out there. So when she would go to work in the morning, I would watch my little son, right? So at this point, my little baby girl, Star, she had already started like a kindergarten or something. So it would just be me and little Rashawn home. He was a baby. He was probably like 2 years old or something, right? He could walk, but he was a baby, like 2 years old or something. So I would come home from hustling my block at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then she would go to work. I guess she'd leave at 8 o'clock or whatever to go to work. And so in the morning, it was horrible because I'm trying to sleep, but I got to wake up and change his diaper and wake up and feed him and wake up. Yeah, I was a Mr. Mom, right? So me and Lil Ra. So at this time, I'm like, all right, I came home, right? She got everything ready. So I was like, I'm going to stay up. So I washed up and everything. I'm like, I'm going to take the car to go get inspected because I want to start driving the little silver joint. Mike Mills said you were different for that. Was it the green 98? Was the crazy white walls? Hashtag Mike Mill must know. Shout out Mike Mill. You know us. You know some of the 98 history. You know some of our history, huh? You talk about the nasty four and you talk about the green and white cards. Facts. If you just learning it, wait, I got some stories coming, Mike Mill. You're going to love that. And the music and all that, pictures and everything. I got straight stuff coming. So I'm like, I'm about to go register the little silver joint because I want to drive the silver joint through the hood. You know what I mean? I want to go put the rims on it, put some crazy joints on it, put the bump in it and all that. You know what I mean? Because it's just sitting out there, fishbowl. I ain't even got no tints on. It's just look out there looking pretty, right? So I'm like, all right. So she goes to work, right? So I get, little Ra already. I get washed up. So now I'm right on Farmers and 119. For any of my people from Queens, from Jamaica, Queens, from this part, the south side, Jamaica, Queens, basically, south, what's this kind of southeast, yeah, probably southwest, westist or eastern, whatever. Farmers Boulevard, y'all know what I'm talking about. Farmers in the house, right? Farmers in Linden, farmers in Baisley. All right, that's your marker for those from Queens who know about Queens, Jamaica, Queens. So anyway, so I'm on Farmers in Baisley, right? So when I walk out, I go up the street to the right towards Baisley, right? And in Linden, and right there on Baisley, there's car shops. Right there on Farmers and Baisley, there's car shops, right? Right before you get to Linden. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it to this big car shop on the corner. I think it's on the corner of Baisley and Farmers, right? But on the left side, anyway. So I go up, right? I go up there. I got my little man. I got a little Ra. You know what I mean? I got him all dressed up and everything. So we go. I'm taking this new joint. So I pull into the shop, and it's this old man in the shop. He owned the shop, right? It's a big shop, a big 5 bays and everything, right? So he come up. So he and this story is kind of funny because I learned another lesson in this story. I learned that thing. Y'all guys, all right, Mike said he Hempstead all day, Hollywood section 510 fame. Facts. All right, that's why I'm like, some history. All right, that's what's up. Hollywood, facts. Hollywood store. That's where Prodigy used to live at, guys. That's where Prodigy and Havoc from Mobb Deep got their start at 510 Studios. They didn't start in Queensbridge. They deal with Paul. I got a story about Paul who produced their first before they got their second record deal. Their first record deal when they had the little stickers with the little hammer thing on it and all that. I got some stories coming beginning of Prodigy, but he from over there where Mike Mill from. Hollywood store and 510 Studios, legendary. That's what Busta Rhymes too and Public Enemy, all of them got their start there, and Mobb Deep too. All right, so anyway, those stories to come. So I learned in this story, I learned this thing about, some of y'all heard this story, this saying about that old man strength, right? Y'all heard of that old man strength? That old man strength thing is a fact. I learned that. I learned a lot in this story right here. I learned a lot of life lessons in this story right here. So I hope I can find this picture. I'm gonna try to find it when I tell this, when I end the story. If not, when I come back next week, for the next week's story, I'll show y'all the picture if I can't find it now, because I got it. I just got to find where it's at on my computer. I want y'all to see the receipt of this story, what happened. So anyway, I pull in. So, they got it's kind of empty because it's early in the morning, right? Remember, I said I got home at 6. As soon as she left, I wanted to be nobody in the shop. I wanted to get it in, get my car inspection, get it done, and get back home so I can go to bed, because I gotta, I've been hustling all night on my block. So I'm there early. So bang, he had one car in there first. So he's like, he came out like, what you need? So I'm like, yeah, I'll just come to get an inspection, a quick inspection. I said, quick, because this car I don't need nothing. It's going to pass, right? This car is flawless. So I'm like, I'm just coming to get a quick inspection. He said, all right. I'm like, how much you charging? So he I think it was like $30 for the inspection. Now it's probably $200. But this man, remember, guys, it's like 92 or something, right? So I think it's something like $30, something like that, right? So I'm like, how much you charging? Because some people, I asked it because some people, a lot of mechanics are crooks, right? A lot of mechanics are shady, right? That's why women got to be careful when they take their car. Always try to find you a guy in your family or somebody that can go with you or that you trust that can take it, because they're going to screw y'all. No matter, they're going to know y'all don't know about cars. So mechanics are shady as all outdoors, right? They'll try to rob you no matter what. So I'm like, how much you charging? Because I know some people charging 50, some people charging 100, some people charge you 150 when it's only you. The real spots are like, give me $30, especially if it's nothing. You know what I mean? So he was like, I think he said 50, right? And I was like, you know what? That's too much because I know I can get it for 30. But I was like, whatever. Let me just get it done. You know what I mean? I need to go back and get to bed, right? So he said 50. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? So then when he said 50, he saw my face, right? So when he saw my face, he like, oh, what, $50? You complaining about $50? You ain't got $50? So I'm like, heck, dude, you know what I mean? All right, you a little extra, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I got $50. I'm like, I don't mean I want to pay $50. He's like, well, it's cost $50. If you ain't got $50, then go find somewhere else. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? So I'm thinking like, just get it done. Because it's going to take 5 minutes, literally. Because once he put it on the system, stick the thing up the tailpipe and all that stuff, right? It's going to be quick because it's going to pass. It ain't nothing. So I'm like, you know what? Just whatever. You know what I mean? I got a lot of money, right? I own my block. So I'm not a millionaire now, but I got a lot of money. You know what I mean? I got that. I'm getting that bag from my block. So I'm like, whatever, just pay the $50. Ignore his attitude. So I'm like, all right, up $50, right? So he's like, all right. So he goes back, he's taking care of the person, and the person is old. So for anybody in any ghetto, in any hood, you know the old timers, right? The old timers, how they talk. Hey, yo, they talking and everything. These old timers, he probably like about, let me see, he probably like about 60 years old. You know what I mean? 65. You know what I mean? The old timer. You know what I mean? Pop, or somebody's grandfather or something, right? 65 years old or something. But he's kind of tall. He's like 65. He's probably he's probably 6'2". And at that point, I'm probably 5'11" or 6 foot. Because I don't know, I still stretched out another inch somewhere later. I don't know how I got 6'1". I'm like, I used to be 6 foot forever. I'm like, how in the world I get 6'1"? I don't know how that happened. But anyway, so at that point, I'm probably 6 foot, or maybe 5'12", 5'11", something like that. So he like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. He's taller, he's tall, and a strong man, stocky man. He's not not an old fragile man. And I could tell he's probably from the islands originally, like probably from Trinidad or Barbados or something like that. Right? I could just tell, he still had a little bit of the accent, but probably been in New York for 40 years or whatever. So, all right. So he's, he talking to the other man, they doing all that, whatever. So I'm sitting there. So I got Little Ra, right? So I take Little Ra out the car because we waiting for a while for them to finish. So I take Little Ra out the car so he could walk around and stuff. So they got a little deli right next door, right there on Farmers and Baisley. So I go take him in the store, get him some little chips and everything. So we there, whatever. So, Little Ra finished, right? So then he like, the guy he let the bay down for the guy's car come down on the the lift, right? For the lift the car up. So he let the lift down and he pulled the car out. So like, all right, you want that inspection? Come on, pull in here. Come on now, come on. I ain't wasting my time. He one of those, right? he one of those characters, right? Like, oh, come on, I ain't wasting my time. Right? It ain't nobody in the shop, right? I mean, he got 5 bays. I'm the only one to mind wasting his time, right? Yeah, come on now, pull the car in. Waste my time. He remind me of the dude from Martin. Now, don't you know no good? Y'all remember that dude? The mechanic dude from Martin, don't you know no good? He remind me of that dude, but that's funny. But he was like, he don't look like him or nothing, but he's one of those old timers, right? So he like, so I'm like, oh, this dude is annoying. I'm like, this dude is annoying. So I take Lil Ra, I put him in the car because we left the car right outside the other bay. I put him in the passenger seat. I get in, I back the car out. Now that's a little a little stick. So I back the little stick out, bang, bang, bang. So I pull it in. I love this little car, right, guys? I'm in love with this little car, right? So I pull it in. Amon know about that, don't you know? No, good. That was one of my favorite characters on mine. I loved all the characters on Martin. It's a trip. He was a trip back there. So I pulled the thing up in the thing, and I'm happy. I'm giving y'all my emotion because I love this little car. It's so clean. I can't wait to hook it up, right? So I pull the car up on the thing, pull it, how he guide you in, guide you in, whatever he guide me in. The car's in there, it's on the thing. So 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 I, you know, I get it. It's all situated, set up, right? So then he like, all right, that's it, stop, so whatever. He stopped it. So then I go and I get little Rod out, right? Get him out the car, and then I take his little baby bag. For all those men who raise their babies, y'all know what I'm talking about. I got his baby bag, I got his diaper, I got his milk, his bottle, I got everything in the baby bag, right? The wipes, all that. So I grab out his baby bag. Yeah, I was Mr. Mom, facts, a real man. So I grab out his baby bag, and then I take him out so that we're gonna wait out while he, you know, do the car. So I take him out or whatever. So me and Rod, we standing out there. So he takes the car. He does everything. So I say to him, I'm like, yeah, this should be quick because this car is flawless. Like, you know what I mean? This should be quick. He like, yeah. So I'm like, all right. So he pulls it up in the air. He starts running the stuff. He's doing all the thing. So I'm like, all right. So, you know, I'm entertaining a little Rod. We out there, you know, and then when he brings the car back down, he like to stick the thing in the tail and do all this other stuff. So he's like, oh yeah. I don't know. This might cost you a little more. So I'm like, cost you a mil? Like, I'm like, nah. This car is flawless. Like, oh, I don't know. Might cost you a little more. So I'm like, oh man. So, you know, I'm like, you know, here come the BS, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what? He's tripping, right? So he goes, he got the engine up and everything. So then he finishes, right? So the car's down. So it's a bunch of bays. So I'm standing in the, you know, because little Ra was walking around, you know, he wanted to walk around, you know, taking his little steps. So I'm in the next bay over. So I'm in the next bay, went over outside of it. So we doing stuff like this. So I'm inside. So then he comes and he walks over and he like, I got bad news. I'm like, bad news? You know, like, he like, yeah, I know you thought this was going to be $30. He said, unfortunately, no, $50. He said, unfortunately, you need to add another $100 to that. So I'm like, another $100 for what? Yep, $150. That's how much it's going to cost, $150. I'm like, excuse me, like, what? It didn't fail anything. Oh, that's what your mouth say. That ain't what my machine say. My machine said, I said, this car is brand new, sir. Like, this car, I know cars. Like, guys, I could build it. I mean, I put in engines back when we was the 98 posse, what Mike Neal is talking about. Back then, way back then, it was cool. We used to work on our own cars. It was just cool to do in the project parking lot. I put engine in my car. We put a flywheel. We put a transmission. I'm talking about buying the hoist and everything. I know how to make. I do my own tune-ups. Like, I know a car, right? Because it was cool for us back in the days in the 80s. It was cool to learn how to do it. You feel me? So I knew it so I'm like, dude, there ain't nothing wrong with this car. This car is flawless, right? So I swear he doing the old man Martin mechanic or shady mechanic, but it ain't funny, right? So he like, oh, no. It's going to cost you $150. He like, $150 what it costs, $150. I'm like, listen, man. I'm like, listen, dude. I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I would just like to get my inspection, right? I just want to get my inspection so I could go home. I could take my little man home, right? And I need to go to bed. I work at night, right? I'm like, I work overnight. Like, he like, well, you want to go home? It'll cost you $150, right? You cough up $150. I give you an inspection sticker and you go home. I said, so can you show me? I said, show me in the diagnostic printout where it failed, something that failed for me to pay $150. He said, listen, it costs $150 or what do you say? Or I take out a mechanic's lien on your car and I just keep this this brand new pretty car. I said, see, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about. I learned to control my emotions later, right? now I'm thinking about I'm probably being tested by the Most High, but I don't know him yet, right? So I'm not like I'm a hustler. I'm busting that gun, all that, but I'm a good guy. Like I fight bullies. I take care of people. I take care of the little kids. I'm a good guy. My heart was always golden, even though I'm busting out that gun and all that crazy stuff I'm living at that time. But I'm still a good guy. So I don't cross nobody. So when someone crosses me, I lose it. Because I'm not I don't mess with people like me from my hood. I'm loved in every neighborhood because I take care of everybody. Everybody love Rashawn, the guy. Like they love the guy Rashawn. No matter where I go, I'll pass everywhere. I'm the type that pull up like, yo, Rashawn. I'm like, yo, in every hood. Like I love by everyone because I take care of everyone. If someone hating on me, they just jealous, and that's it. It could be no other reason because I show love to everybody, right? So shout out Fayah in the building. So I'm like, yo, he like $150, what it gonna cost you? And then, when this fool said, if I don't pay the $150, this man is already trying to take my car. That blew my mind. That's what threw me over the edge. He said, if you don't pay the $150, I'll take out a mechanic's lien on your car, and then I'll keep this pretty little car. I'll keep this pretty little car. So I said, what? Nah, guys, I'm being stuck up. You might as well stick a gun in my face, right? You might as well come on my block on Parkside and rob my spot. So I'm like, yo. So I said, yo, dude, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I just come to get an inspection, my dude. I'm like, this car, really, inspection only costs $30. I'm willing to pay you $50. I just want to get my inspection, man. He said, well, you ain't getting no inspection here unless you cough up $150. As a matter of fact, you need to hurry up and cough it up because you're wasting my time. So I'm like, I said, listen, man, listen, I got my little son here. So at this point, I grabbed Rashawn, you know what I mean? And, because he was walking around or what, so I grabbed Rashawn. So he's standing next to me. We're inside of the bay. So my car is right here in the next bay. So we're inside of this bay where the lift is and stuff, right? And so he's right here and I'm right here in the lift. Like it's a little part. Like if you get out the car where the bay is, we on that little sidewalk part before the next bay. So I'm like, listen, man, I just came to get my inspection. Like this car is perfect. Like, dude, I know cars, man. Like, please, dude, it's too early. I'm not trying to don't try to rip me off, my dude. Yeah, rip you off. See, that's what's wrong with you little young, whippersnappers or whatever he said. You little young. So I'm like, oh, I put it together. So I'm like, oh, you one of those old timers who hating on the young dudes. Y'all know y'all got that nowadays. Unc is an old timer. I'm an OG, but I don't hate on the young dudes. You feel me? I'm not like that. I ain't there, I'm not one of those. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, you one of those. You probably jealous, of the young dude. I'm like, my thing was, I was like, if you jealous of this my hoopty. If I bought my 500 in here, my big Benz in here, you would lose your mind. You want to be jealous? I'll go home and get my big boy. Facts, you know what I mean? I'm like, fool, this my hoopty. He's jealous over my little hoopty. And you'll really be jealous when I throw the rims on. That's what I'm thinking. Wait till I hook it up. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come back by here and floss on you when I hook it up, right? So, but I knew what it was. I said, oh, he jealous, right? So I'm like, oh, Halakya, shalom. He said he can't wait to rewatch. All right, he gotta go. All right, Halakya, see it on the replay. So I'm like, oh, I see what this is. This is one of them old timers that just hate on the young timers, right? So I'm like, you know what? Whatever, right? So I'm like, listen, man, listen. I said, come on, bro. So now I'm trying to reason with him. I said, come on, man. So I reached down and I picked up my little rod. So I picked up Lil Ra and I got him in my arm like this. I'm holding him. I said, listen, brother. I said, I'm just a young black brother. I got my little baby, right? I said, it's a little baby boy, black baby boy. I just want to get an inspection, man. I said, I come to the black shop and I just try to support our own could you please just give me my inspection sticker? And he looked at me and he said, you ain't getting shit. He said, if you don't give me the $150, you see that little pretty car over there? That's going to be my car. And I kind of lost it. I said, what? Now, that's what I'm saying. I learned later, guys, always control your emotions. I snapped. I got Lil Rye in my arm. I don't even realize Lil Rye in my arm like I do, but I said, what mother F? I'm like, F you, man. Who you think you talking to? Nah, just, you know, Luciano's coming out now. I'm like, I ain't Rashawn no more. I'm Luch. You want to know why they call me Lucky Lucha? They call me Lucha because I like to tuck that tucha, right? So I'm like, I'm Luch, right? So I'm like, who you think you talking to, mother effer? Like, you crazy? I'm like, I shoot this whole mother effer. Like, now I'm losing it. You know what I mean? You know, that's that crazy stuff when you get crazy, right? Now I'm losing focus, right? So he's like, he an old man, right? So he started doing the old man stuff, right? He's like, who you talking to? Who you? I'm tired of you little young niggers, right? Yeah, so he said, I'm tired of you young niggers. Y'all think y'all run around here, y'all sell y'all drugs? And I said, oh, this is personal. I said, F you, nigga. I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know me because he don't. I'm like, I live here, but I'm from Parkside, so you don't know. I didn't move here for a lot of people to know me. So I'm keeping low key. So I'm like, you don't know me. You don't even know nothing about me. I'm like, dude, I come to get an inspection sticker with my son, and this is how you treat me? You trying to rob me? So he like, yeah, you. He said, yeah, you gonna pay. What he say? He said, you gonna pay for this. You gonna pay this $150, or you gonna give me this car? This is my car. So I said, you know what? F you, nigga. I said, I ain't paying for shit. I'm taking my car, right? And I'm like, now I'm on go, right? It's on site now. I'm on go, right? So I'm like, I'm taking my car. Now that's stupid. Now I'm telling you what I learned later. Guys, I got a whole empire to lose. I ain't thinking about nothing. I ain't thinking about my block, my money, my whole empire. I'm saying to him, I'm not paying you nothing. I'm about to take my car out of here and I ain't giving you nothing. Guys, I ain't thinking, that's a crime, right? That's a crime. See, that's what I meant by I learned later to control my emotions in the midst of the battle, in the midst of any type of attack. Stay focused, because listen, guys, people lose their whole life, everything, from an emotional reaction, right? They do it all the time. Shout out Yakab, the battle axe warrior in the building. They do it all the time. They lose everything from reacting emotionally in a situation. You lose your family, you end up going to jail, lose your business, your practice, you have a construction, you can lose everything from one act of an emotional act. So we're called as children of the Most High, especially the man, to maintain our composure and our focus. Don't let the emotions, because these dark adversaries, devils and demons and stuff, they come in through your emotions. Emotional man is unstable. So I didn't have that mastered then, because after I had plenty of time to regret these decisions that I'm making in this story, right? And I played it back, so I learned. Also, a real wise man learns from the mistakes of others. But another aspect of a wise man is one who learns from his own mistakes too. You're supposed to learn from your mistakes, assess the situation, and grow, and don't repeat it. So the next time you're in a situation, I was always like that. That's why I'm such an astute, wise man right now, because I always learn. So at that moment, I'm boo-boo the fool right now. Only thing I'm thinking is this fool trying to jack me, right? I might as well stick a gun in my face, right? I'm like, he trying to jack me. So now you ain't getting nothing. Y'all know those who from the streets, Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now you ain't getting nothing. Right? You know, I was raw. You ain't getting nothing. I don't care who you are. You ain't getting nothing now. Now you know what I used to call it? Now you got to get it in blood. That's how I used to call it. That was my saying back then. We used to have a song called, Do You Want to Taste Blood in Your Mouth? Do you want to taste blood in your mouth? Say what? Do you want to taste blood in your... Yo, y'all gonna love that song too for the stories that I'm playing. I'm start playing songs to the stories or whatever. That's another time frame. That's when L who the one who did 24 years before he went to jail to do that 24-year bid. We were the Nasty Four. We made that song before he went, when you taste blood in your mouth. So anyway, so my saying was, now you got to get it in blood, right? Now you got to just get it in blood. I always say that because I'm a very nice guy, but once you cross the line, now you got to get it in blood. Let go. So now my stupid butt, I'm like, you know what? You ain't getting nothing now. I'm taking my car. Dumb move, because all right, I don't want to ruin the story, but I'm doing a crime. So that was been a stupid move. So he said that pushed him over the edge. He said, what? He doing the old man stuff. What? You little whippersnappers. You trying to take what? You ain't taking nothing from me. You think I got something for you. So I'm like, so I took the little ride. And so I'm like, I turn, right? So I turn and I'm about to walk into, so right where I'm standing, there's the lifts. So I'm about to step a foot over the little metal thing and then walk over, go to my passenger side, open it, put Lil Ryan in, go to the other side, get in the car and then drive it out there off the bay, drive down off the thing. I'm out, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm tripping. So I start to turn, right? To walk my step off the thing to go down over the metal thing to go across. And when I start to turn, I'm watching him though. You not you, Lou. He doing the crazy old man thing. So then he say, I got something for you, whippersnappers. I knew that this day was gonna come. And so I look back because of course my head always on swivel. I'm watching him. So I start to go take a step and I look and I see this man go. And this fool put out a knife. I don't know where he had it. I don't know. I know he from Trinidad. It looked like a sugarcane knife, if y'all know what I'm talking about. That thing was big. So this fool pulls out a knife. And I'm like, so I seen it. Like, I don't know where it came from. Maybe he had a holster on his side and had a big shirt covering it. That's probably what he had, because I didn't see nothing. So maybe it was, he had a long, and a long shirt to cover it. So he just, he pulled out a sword. Yo, that nigga pulled out a samurai sword, right? So I seen it glisten out my eye, because, I'm from the streets, so I always head on swivel. So I take the step and I look and he said, I knew this game something. And that thing said, and I said, whoa. So I turned and I looked and he had the knife out. So I was like, I said, OG, old timer, because before we used to say OG, I'm like, old timer, you gonna pull a knife on me? You gonna pull a knife on me? He said, that's right. I cut your ass from your head to your toe. I cut you. I've been waiting for this. So I said, old timer, I got my son. The hell wrong with you? He's like, I don't care. That's what it was, a machete, Diana. He like, I don't care. I chop his little ass up too. Pardon my language. I said, that really threw me over the top. He said, I chop his little ass up too. I said, what? I said, F you, mother effer. I said, matter of fact, I come back. And when I said that, he took the knife and he said, he swung the shit. Yo, I swear to y'all guys, this crazy ass old man took this knife and swung it at my head. He went to chop my head with a damn sword, with a machete. That's exactly what it was, with a machete. So when he went to chop, I seen the blade, so I got a little round my arm. So I'm like, and it's coming. So the only thing I had, guys, the only thing I could do was to grab the blade with my hand. So I grabbed it. Now I got a little raw in this arm. He swung and I grabbed the blade. Bang! It hit my palm. It hit. Bang! So when it hit, it automatically cut in. Like it almost cut my whole damn palm, my leg. It almost cut my whole damn hand in half when it hit. So it hit and it banged my hand. So when it banged my hand, I'm conscious that I got a little raw. So I'm still trying to protect him. So it hit, and when it hit, I don't got time for pain. So I know I screamed like, ah, and then I just turned. I turned his wrist with the blade. So when I turned his wrist with the blade, what I deduced was it cut. When I turned, it cut from here. That's where it starts here. Right there. That mark right there. It cut from here. And when I turned, it cut all the way around. It turned and cut all the way. The cut goes all the way to here, all the way around my whole thumb. So it turned, and when it turned, it just cut my whole thumb off. Guys, my thumb was cut off. It cut my, now I'm giving y'all in the moment and hindsight. I'm gonna tell the story though. So I'm giving y'all both. I don't know that my thumb is cut off when this is happening, right? I'm in the moment. So I grabbed it and I turned and it, right? So all I know is I do feel hot blood going down, right? Blood splattered everywhere, but I feel a lot of blood, hot blood going down my arm. That's one thing I felt. I didn't feel the cut. I feel none of that, but I feel this hot blood. And I know it's blood, right? And then this blood, I can see blood it's splattered everywhere, right? So I hit it and I turned. So when I turned, I still got little Rob. And he goes, right? So he goes, right? And he pushes. He pushes. So I'm trying to hold him, and then here come that old man strength, right? So I'm like, so he goes, and he pushes. I'm like, shit, he's strong. I just remember that. I'm like, damn, this dude is strong. And I remember that's that old man strength. That old man strength is for real. That old boy, you mess with an old timer, y'all better, listen, young dudes, y'all shouldn't be messing with no old timer, period. But if an old timer violates you and you got to protect yourself, you better factor in old man strength. That's a real thing. Facts. Anybody who know what I'm talking about. So he goes, Rah! and he pushes, and he's so strong that he's pushing me back, and I feel myself like I'm gonna fall because he's strong, and he went and pushed forward. So when he pushed forward, I felt myself like take a step back, and I'm like, I'm gonna fall. And I know, guys, that I got a little raw. So as I'm falling now, I feel it like I'm losing my footing. I take little raw, and he pushes back with all his strength, and I start to go back, right? But I still got the machete in my hand, right? And he's pushing me back. And so I go like this, so I start to fall. And I'm in the air, I'm losing my foot, right? So as I'm going down, I'm falling, and he's on top of me. So I got his body weight. He's coming down, he's pushing. So as I fall down, on my way down, going backwards, I can't brace myself to fall. I can't do nothing because I have to protect my son. I got to protect Lil Ra. So as I fall in the air, the only thing I'm thinking is I got to lay Ra down gently. So I'm just got to take the fall with this man's body weight on me. And he like 6'3", probably like 200 pounds, regular, right? A big man. He ain't no little man. So I'm falling and he's on top of me. He's like, oh, and I'm falling. And as I go down, I lay Little Rod down. I lay him down. And once he's down, my body is almost down. So I'm falling back and I lay Little Rod down. And once he's down, I just try to like, only thing I could do is squint my face because there's no trying to protect myself. So once Little Rod's down, I just try to brace myself for the fall. So I fell. Boom. And he's on top of me. Guys, when I fell on the metal part of the car lift. We're in the bay. I fell, and I gotta say the word. I'm not gonna say the complete word. That shit, it cracked, it like boom. Oh my goodness, the pain from the metal all in my back, and then my body is hitting because when you are at a car lift, it's the two rails where they tell you put your wheels on, right? And then it lifts up. So the two rails is here and the cement is here. And then once you get past where your wheels are going, it drops down. It's the cement down there. So when I fell across the thing, the metal rails, my top back is, and my head is on the cement, but my butt and stuff and my lower back is still on the metal part, and my feet are, and he's on top of me. So that pain I felt. I still don't feel that I got this machete in my hand. So we fell. Boom. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, I know. I'm like, So I'm like, and I feel this pain, like my whole back is just, and I'm like, and so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. And he's just tripping. Like he's like, so I'm just holding him, and he's like, and I'm like, get off me. And I'm looking at Little Rod, and he just standing there looking at me. He's not crying or nothing. I'm glad that he's not crying, right? So I'm looking at him. I don't want him to be, traumatized and crying, but he's just standing there looking at me. And I'm like, okay, good. That made me feel better. So I'm like, good. He's not crying. So I look at him, Roger's looking at me like, he probably looking like, what is going on, right? So he just looking. So then this man, he's tripping. He's like, hey, I'm gonna kill you. And he's doing all this. So I'm like trying to assess what's going on. Like I'm like got the life knocked out of me, falling on this car metal lift, falling on the car lift, right? So I'm holding him. So he like, get off me. I'm gonna kill you. So I'm trying to hold him. So he's trying to get up. So he like, get off me. So he tried to get up. So I'm trying not to let him get up because I'm scared that, he's going to, finish with this machete, and try to just stab me or something. So I take my other hand and I grab his hand with the machete. So I got the thing like this and there's blood everywhere. So I take he yelling, get off me, good. So I take the other hand and I grab the machete. So I grab his arm that's holding machete. So we fighting and everything. He's like, get off me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, I am not letting this go. Because if I let this go, I'm dead. He already tried to chop me with my son in my hand. I ain't stupid. This fool is gonna kill me, right? So I'm not letting go. And he's fighting, we fighting. I'm fighting for my life. So I'm, when you fighting for your life, you get that strength too. Now I got that Superman life death strength, right? So I ain't letting go. I'm trying to break his arm. I'm trying to get this machete. So he realized he couldn't get it. He got, get off me. And he trying to do stuff, and he taking his other hand and he's hitting me, but I ain't doing no avail. It don't matter. He can hit me with a doggone sledgehammer. I'm fighting because I know he's gonna kill me. So I got that life death strength going on. So he hit me and I don't feel nothing. I don't care. He just hit me on the side. I don't care. I'm just trying to twist I'm trying to get the machete out his arm, because then I know if I get the machete, I could defend myself, right? And then I could try to pick up Little Rod and get out of this hellhole, this hell. I'm in a mechanic shop from hell, right? So I'm Shalom, daughter of Yah Mashiach Yavana. I'm like, yo, I need to get out to the sidewalk to let people know, right? Because my son is here, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I got to get this machete out of his hand so I can get Lil Rod and get out of this bay, right? So he realized he's hitting me. He realizes not doing that. So he like, get off me, get off me, get off me. He trying to get up. And so then he realized not doing that. So he said, I remember this clear as day. He just stopped. He said, oh yeah? You don't want to get off me? I got something for your ass. And he just let go. Pardon my language. He just let go and he just got up. So when he got up, he stood up and he's standing over me. He said, that's right. You know, youngsters, y'all think, whippersnapper, whatever. He's still being like child age racist to me. I guess age racism or something. I don't know what's his problem, right? So he like, I got something for you. I got something for you. So he stand up and look at me. So when he got up, I was like, I was relieved because I finally had a second to like, this all happened like this. So y'all know when you're in the middle, it's all like in seconds this happened. I went from, I just want an inspection to I'm laying there with a machete in my hand by the blade with this man standing over me with my little son standing there looking at me, just staring at me. And I'm like, is this even real? Like, does this really just happen? I swear it's like a dream, but it's not. It's for real. So then he's standing up. So all this is in the moment, all in motions, right? Because remember, when you're in this stuff, it seems like it's all happening in slow motion type of thing. So he stand up. I remember him saying, yeah, you little whatever. He's cursing at me. I got something for you. I got something for you. Pointing. So as he was saying that, only thing I can do is kind of focus and like, okay, now I'm like, and then I feel my back too. I'm like, ooh. So I'm like I almost can't move, right? I'm like, ooh, like my back is really hurt. So I'm like, ooh. So then that's when I look at my hand and I see the machete and I'm like, and this is all while he's talking. I'm like, oh, watch, I got something for you. I got something for you. So I look and I'm like, and guys, I look and my hand, my thumb is hanging. It's hanging. It's hanging. He cut my thumb off. Literally, it's hanging. This part right here is hanging down here, right? So I'm like, so I seen it and I'm like, okay, I can't focus on that because if I get freaked out by that, I'm still in the battle, right? So he says, I got something for you. I got something for you. And then he turns around. So as he turns around, I realize, okay, that's when I seen my hand. I'm like, okay, I got to get up, right? So I tried to move and it hurt really bad. So I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I got to get up. I got to get up. So I go to get up and I'm like, oh, so I go to try to stand up and then he turns around. So he comes back. I guess he went into his little office. So he turned around and he came back. He said, yeah, I got something for you now. What you going to do now? And I turn around and this fool got a gun pointed at me. This old man crazy. This the old, that's what I said. This ain't the don't you know no good from this a no. This the Martin mechanic from hell. I'm like, hey, turn around, and it was a revolver. It looked like a 38, because back then revolvers were very popular. A 38 revolver. I had a couple of 38s. I had a snub nose 38 too. They call it police special. Really small, fit in your hand, right? 38s and 32s. We had 38 revolvers and a 32 revolver. 32s. I had both of them. They were popular back then. So I turn around, and this fool got a 38 pointed at me. He said, what you gonna do now? I shoot, I'ma blast your ass. I kill your ass. So I look, so I was getting up, right? So as I'm getting up, I look and his fool is pointing a gun in my face. So I said, man, I don't know, guy. I was just out of it. I said, man, I ain't just shoot me then. Right? Cause I'm like, I'm already half dead, my back broken, my thumb cut off. I was coming for a inspection sticker, right? I'm like, nigga, you're gonna have to just shoot me then, right? So he's like, don't you move, don't you move. So I start getting up. He said, I'll shoot you, I'll shoot you. I said, I don't care, shoot me, shoot me. I didn't care. I literally didn't care. So I'm getting up. He said, don't move. I'm telling you, don't move. And I'm just getting up. I'm like, whatever. So I get up. So when I get up, I drop the knife. Like, I don't care. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't care no more. I'm tired of this, right? This is crazy what's happening. So I dropped the machete thing, right? So I dropped the thing, and that's when I realized the full severity of my hand. So I dropped the machete thing, and then when I drop it, I look, and I'm covered with blood. It's all over my clothes. And I look, I'm like, damn. And it's blood everywhere. It's puddles of it. So I'm like a massacre. So that's when I look, and my hand, okay. When I look, I can see, I'm gonna find the picture. If I don't find it before we end this story, next week, I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna show y'all the picture. So my hand, I can see like this whole part is gone. Like, so all of this is gone. The thumb is hanging here. So I can see the back of my skin, right? So, okay, I can look through my hand and see this part, the back part. There's nothing there. Everything is hanging here. So what I'm saying is what I had to do was all this meat and stuff, and this thumb was here. So I grabbed all of this from here and tucked it in here. Y'all don't even understand. Pain, it comes a point where the pain, either you'll pass out from it or you get numb to it and you got no choice. I had no choice but to just like my receptors to block the pain. I can't be succumbed to the pain, otherwise it's just survival instincts. So I grabbed this stuff, right? All this flesh, this is blood everywhere, meat, and all the insides of my hand, the whole palm, the whole thumb part, this whole part, because the cut it goes to all the way to right here, right? The cuts through the whole palm and all the way around from the back. So I took all of this and I tucked it in and I closed it like this. That's how I was holding my thumb, and stuff is in here like this. And blood is right. So I did that. And all I'm doing is lay down, I'll shoot you. And his hand's shaking, and I don't care. I'm ignoring his ass. Pardon my language. I'm ignoring him, right? I'm just done with this whole situation, right? So I tuck everything in, and I hold it like this. And he's like, I'm gonna shoot you, lay down, And then he's yelling. So he starts yelling, help, help, help. He's trying to rob me. So he's yelling. So all the people, because we're on Farmers, for those from Queens, we're on Farmers in Baisley, right at the corner. So on the corner of Baisley, it's a car shop. Vivian used to own this Jamaican dude named Vivian. I ended up buying a van from him before. And then it's the other corner, the one that's on Farmers, that corner right there. That car shop, that car didn't probably stay. I know that man probably ain't alive, but that car shop probably put it. And then it was a liquor store, I think, right next to it, if I'm correct. But I know it was a bodega store right there too. So for those from Queens, from Jamaica, Queens, that part know what I'm talking about. So, and this is like 90s, 92 or 91 or something, 93 or something like that. 92, I was locked. This is like 91. All right. So he started yelling, right? Help, help, help. He's trying to rob me. So all the people from the neighboring stores and all the old timers who be out there playing cards and, sitting out there drinking in the morning, because it's still early. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning now, right? It's like 9:30, 10, because I think it opened at 9 or something. I was there when it first opened. So all in one, they all started running in because he's yelling, help, help. So the people started running in. So as the people started running in, they look, and everybody, when I look, everybody who run in, they run up and they try and like, what's going on? And they stop. And I see everybody's face. I guess they see the bloody massacre going on. So they see him having a gun at me, and there's so much blood everywhere. There's puddles of it, and I'm covered in it, right? So I see everybody stop. And so they stop. So he's like, he's trying to rob me. He said, call the police, call the police, call the police. He's trying to rob the shop. And I'm like, oh, shit, right? So I'm like, oh, man, like this is bad. So my instincts, I'm from the street. All I know is the street. One thing we don't play with back in those days is police, okay? When I heard him say, call the police, I'm like, I got to go, right? I'm like, I got to get out of here. The police coming, right? And so I'm like, he said, call the police, call the police. He tried to rob the store. Here, you do move, I'm gonna shoot you. So I looked at him. I said, you're gonna have to shoot me, mother effer. And I reached down and I picked up Lil Ra. I picked him up in my arm. He got up in my arm like he wasn't crying or nothing. He got right up in my arm, looked at me like, Daddy, what you gonna do? Type thing. I look at him, I'm like, we out, Lil Ra. I look at him, I'm like, man, F you. And I just turned, right? And he's like, I'ma shoot. I didn't care. I just turned around and I ran out the bay. So when I come out the bay, my house is to the left. If you go to the right, that's Baisley Corner right there. And then the next little corner is Linden and Farmers, for those who from Queens. So I got to make a left and I got to go. I live one block, that's 119th Drive. And then 119th Road is when I lived off the next. So I got to go one block up. It's a decent sized block. And then I got to go one more little block. And then my street is right there. And the house I'm renting is right there. A little apartment I'm renting on 119th Road in Farmers, right? So I run out. And so he told me, he's like, I'm gonna shoot, grab him. So when I took Lil Ra and I took off to run out, everybody was right there. You see some of the people, they look and they just look at me and I guess I'm covered in too much blood, and they see I got a baby with me. You know what I mean? So they like, I know they like, what is going on? Like, this is a crazy situation, right? So when I take off the run, they just move out my way. So I took off. So I'm running. Now I'm holding my insides of my thumb. Blood is just pumping. Blood is just, as I'm running, blood is everywhere, right? He cut my whole thumb off, guys. So blood is everywhere, right? And it's still pumping out because I'm just holding it like this. So I come out and I run, then I hit Farmers. So I start running up, and it's a little bit of a hill, going up Farmers towards 119 Road. So I start running, and I'm running up 119 Road a little bit. And he comes out, and he's yelling in the street, somebody stop him. He robbed my shop. So people are coming out their houses, and I'm like, crap, call the police. And I'm running. I'm like, oh, I got to get off this main street, right? So I'm running with Lil Ra, and now Lil Ra is kind of heavy because he's like 2 years old, right? And I ain't been working out. I was busting my gun, right? So I ain't in my best shape. And I done lost 90,000 quarts of blood. You know what I mean? My back, I have to ignore the back. All right. I'm ignoring what went on with my back because pain can't be a factor. Like Asiya said, she said, you have to repress the pain to function. Facts. So the pain it's repressed. I have no choice but to get away. Flight or fight instincts is in effect, right? So I'm running with Ra. So I get halfway up Farmers to get to 119th Road. And when I get halfway up, I'm realizing I'm getting tired, right? Because Lil Ra is heavy. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to outbeat the police before they come. So I'm trying to get home. All I'm worried about is I do not want the police. I'm trying to get away. My dumb butt not thinking My car is there. It's a registration. Like, I ain't thinking none of that. I'm just trying to get away from the police at this point, right? So I'm running up the street. So when I get to the middle, right before the corner of 119th Road, that's when I realize I'm getting tired, right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna make it all the way up to my block because I'm getting tired. Ride's getting heavy, and I guess it's because I'm losing blood. You know what I mean? So much blood. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm from the street, so I'm like, all right, I got to get off the main street. So I'm like, when I get up to 119th Road, I'm gonna cut to the left, and then I'm gonna cut down, and then I need to cut through these people's backyards. I need to go from backyard. I need to cut because the cops are gonna be coming either from this way or that way, and I can't run fast enough right now. So I get up to 119th Road, and by the time I get 119th Road, I'm winded. I'm like, and I look back, and I see all the crowd back there, and I'm like, these cops is coming. So I hit to the left. I go to the left. I start running again. So I'm carrying a little ride, blood everywhere, holding my thumb in like this. So I run, and then I'm like, okay, the first house, I'm like, nah, I can't hit the first house. And like, I got to go down a little because I know if they're going to try to catch me. So I'm trying to outthink, where the cops like. So I go down about 3-4 houses, and then I cut through a backyard. So I cut through a backyard. I get to the first one, right? I get to it, bang. They don't have no fence, so I'm good. I get through, bang. I run. I get through. So now I'm on the next block. So I realize now when I get to this one, the next house got a fence, and I'm like, oh crap. So I stand there with a little ride. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I gonna get to this fence? So I'm like, I don't know what to do, right? So I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, all right, I gotta climb. Like I gotta climb with one hand and try to have to grab him. The fence wasn't high though, it was short. You know what I mean? Basically, I could kind of fall over it. If it was high, I would have been screwed. There's no way I could have got up. So basically, I could kind of fall over it, but it's too hard for me to take him and put him over it. So I put him down. I go up to the fence. I like lean against it. I kind of pull myself up on it with this hand. I pull myself up so I can get to the part of the fence that goes across where you can climb over. And so I lay my body on the part that goes across like this. So I'm on I got to balance so I don't fall over. And then I grab him. I said, come on, Rod, come here, grab my hand. I said, come on. So he come and he grabbed my hand. Now he being a trooper. Rod's just chilling the whole time. He ain't crying. He just with me. We riding this out, right? He make a smirk or nothing. So I said, grab my hand. So he grabbed my hand. So I pull him. I got to pull him. I'm like, I pull it, everything I got, and I pull him up. Now, I got him up, and I'm on a fence. So all I could do is fall. My back is already like broken almost. And I knew this was going to be, really bad. So I'm like, I can't get off. I can't climb. I got him. I only got one arm. So I just like, I go, one thing I still do this to this day, the way I take really strong pain, this is some tool for, just growl with the pain. Just go, if you do that, you can absorb anything. Literally, it's a mind control thing. I've always done it, right? That's how I take pain. I take enormous amounts of pain. So I'm like, I knew the breath. I just said, and I just fell. And my goal is to cushion my fall with him so he can fall on my body. You know what I mean? And I got to make sure that I just fell. Boom. It wasn't too high, but it was high enough for my body weight. So I fell. Boom. I'm like, it felt like I broke my back. It just, the pain, but I ain't got time for pain, right? So I'm like, So I'm like, So I look at Lil Rod, you okay? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, get up, bro. So he get up, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay, I get up, I get up, I get up. So I'm like, okay. So I get up, I stand up. I'm like, so me getting up is like, like that. Cause my back is, it's really like practically broken type of thing. So I get up and I'm like, the pain is so bad. So I get up, I'm like, okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Like I gotta coach myself. That's another thing, guys. You have to coach yourself, right? And this is funny because this is probably preparation for what's about to come to America. When everything crash and fall and all this crazy stuff, these are instinctive things you need to learn because we might be in these situations with what's about to come to this world, right? So I guess that's why I'm giving these other tips of how to make it through certain things. So I'm like, you have to coach yourself. You got to be your own cheerleader. So you got to coach, you got to motivate yourself. So I'm like, all right, come on, come on, come on, come on. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go. So I pick Laurel like, pick him up. So I'm like I'm walking. So I'm like, okay, come on, come on. So now I'm psyching myself. I know I don't got too far to go. I know when I get through this thing, only thing I gotta do is cross this other street, and then I'm in my yard, like the back of where my block is, right? So I can see the back of my house type of thing, where I live at. So I'm like, all right, come on. And I know it's no fence. My yard ain't fenced in. So I'm like, all right, come on, come on. I just got to get through this. And once I get through this, then I know I can go into my yard. I made it. So I get through that yard, I'm carrying them. And so I know I got to stop first to look to make sure ain't no police. Because I already heard the sirens. I already heard them. Woo, woo, woo. So I know they already looking. They already driving around. So I get to this street and I look. Now I'm still holding my arm. Blood is, y'all can only imagine how much blood is everywhere, right? Now, also, guys, blood is all over him. Little Rod's covered in blood now. Because I've been holding him, I've been running. Blood was already all over my clothes. So when I went to pick him up for the fence to pull him up, I seen he had a lot of blood on him, splattered on his face too. But then when he fell on me, he was covered in blood now. So when we fell off the fence, he's covered in blood, and I'm covered in blood. Now I'm looking at my little 2-year-old little man covered in blood. Like this is like traumatic mentally. You know what I mean? But I ain't got time to worry about none of it, right? Fight or flight instinct. So I got him. I get to the street, right? I'm holding, and I look. I got to look before I get out the door. I look. I don't see no cop car. So that's when I look at him. He's covered. I'm like, this is sad, man. I'm like, he's just covered in blood, but he chilling. He chilling. He literally chilling. And I told him this story later. He didn't remember because he was only 2. But I told him the story. So I go across the street. So I'm walking. I'm limping crazy, right? So I'm walking with him. I can't really run no more. I'm out of it. Like there's no more. I ain't got no more run in me or nothing. I'm glad. If I wasn't at my backyard, I would have been done, right? I might as well just lay down till they come get me. So I limp across the street, and I go into my backyard, right? So I go in through my yard, and I got a basement apartment in the house that the lady rented me to. So, and she let me live. I was kind of too young to even have an apartment. So when I first moved there, she looked out for me because I was too young. You know what I mean? I was homeless. This is the time that I was homeless, and that's my first apartment. The lady let me live there. So the way my entrance was a side entrance right in the back. So it was perfect. So I went in, and that's the picture I'm going to show you. I wish I could have found it. So I went in, I opened the door, right? I went in, and the door, we always kept a key, right? We always kept I always did that no matter where I live. So in case emergency or case we lose the keys or something, we always kept a key. So we kept a key hiding spot, just like I had a hiding spot in all my whips. No promoting anything for my drugs and my guns. I was the king of hiding spots. I was always like that, right? So I always kept a key because I don't got my keys, right? Because I don't got my car. Also, my brand new car and my keys and everything, I don't got nothing. I just ran. I ain't got Rod's little bag, his baby. I ain't got nothing. I just got my little son, and that's in my pain, right? So I got the key. I open the door. I lock it. I go downstairs. I take little Rod. I'm like, okay, I got to get him out of this stuff. So I take him out of his clothes. I take him in the bathroom. I wash him. I get all his blood off him, right? So I put him in the bathtub and wash him. Get all that blood. It's all in the tub. Wash all the blood off him, right? Dry him off. I take him. Now I'm dripping blood all in my carpet in my house. I take him, get his clothes. I put a little shirt on him. I get him dressed. You straight. So little Rod straight. So now this is when I go back to the bathroom. So now I go to the mirror. I look in the mirror, and I'm covered in blood. It look like a scary movie. Everything, I'm covered in blood, like covered, bloody everywhere. So now from the light of my bathroom, I open my hand, and now I get to see what's really happening. I open my hand, and I'm like, my thumb is mangled. And all I see, guys, is I see the inside of, you see all this meat and flesh, and I could still see I could see the back of my hand, the flesh, like the back part, this part through here. But what I see, all I see is dirt and rocks and gravel. And I'm like, that ain't good. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm thinking like infection. All I see is dirt and gravel and rocks. So I'm like, okay, this ain't good. So I'm like, okay, I gotta like rinse this off, right? Rinse some of the dirt off. And I think that's the picture that I got, because I'm at my sink. I'm gonna try to find it for next week if I don't find it now. I'm at my sink, but you can still see all the you can see residue of blood everywhere. And I show a picture of it. So I take the water, I got the sink running cold water, and I just take the water and try to get all of the rocks and the pebbles and stuff and any of the dirt, and that's another one. I gotta and just scream because water is gonna get inside it, but I gotta wash it out. I ain't trying to get infected and lose my whole hand. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I'm washing it out and I'm screaming with the pain, like, you got to just yell. The thing is, guys, you got to go with the pain. Okay. You got to go with it. You got to be like one with it in a way, like, you just got to. So I'm like yelling and I'm like washing and as the water, and I'm just washing and I wash the back and I'm washing. So I get it where it's like, I don't see no dirt or anything or gravel. Right. So then I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right. So now once I wash off all the blood, I really get to see, pardon me, from my ministry, my throat, when I talk too much now, my throat is closing up a little bit. I've been talking for an hour and a half because I'm doing ministry all the time now. So you hear me clear my throat, it's because my throat is going to be closing up soon. So, so I got to get through this story. So once I get to the point where I see all of the, I could see really now. So I'm like, man, this is really bad. Cause I'm thinking this is me. I'm crazy. I always was crazy before. I'm not crazy now. I used to be crazy before. I'm thinking I'm going to just not go to the hospital and I'm going to just, I don't know, let it heal itself. That's how I used to think. I just do that all the time. Broken bones, whatever I get, I wouldn't go to the hospital till someone make me go. That's just how I'm still like that to this day. I don't play with doctors and stuff. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep it clean. I'm going to have to get some peroxide. I'm going to have to get some, right? So I'm like, and then I'm thinking I'm going to get a bandage. I'm going to get, when my girl come home from work, I'm going to make her get go get bandage kits, like those big bandages they sell. And then I'm going to get the peroxide. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to push it down and push my thumb back in its place, push all the meat and stuff back into my hand, and then take it and wrap it. You know what I mean? Wrap it and then get an ace bandage and wrap it and then have to change the dressing every, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like I'm about to, because I ain't going to know how, I don't play with doctors, right? So I clean it and everything. So I try to find something. I got no bandage. So I take a shirt and I cut it up and I take it and I take this and then I wrap the shirt around here, around my thumb, right, to give some pressure, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to wait it out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go feed little Ra, and I just gotta wait till she get home, right? So she can go get what I need. So I finish with it. I go back. I got it. My hand is wrapped. I wiped all the, I cleaned myself up as much as I can. So now I go to change my clothes. So I go to change my clothes, and it's like it's hurting really bad, but it's pumping. So as I go to change my clothes, once I change my clothes, I change my shirt and everything, I look, that whole shirt is red now. Like, I mean, I took my eyes off it for a second. You know what I mean? As I'm putting, finding clothes and everything, like I'm like this, and I put on my shirt and I'm trying to put it over, and everything. I change my pants. So by the time I finish and I look, the thing is so soaked that blood is dripping from the end of the, and I'm like, this thing soaked up fast. So I was like, oh crap. So I went back in the bathroom, I took it off. So I'm like, man, this is bad, And I'm like, this is really, really, really bad. Now the pain from my back, I'm ignoring, right? Because I'm kind of hunched over. I can't really walk. So I'm leaving that out. But that pain is insane, but I can't focus on it. So I'm like, this is really bad. So then I get another shirt. I wrap it, right? I wrap it. I do it all again. I wash the blood off again. I do it all again. I wrap it. Then I go in the kitchen and I go get a little Ra something. I go make his bottles and stuff like that because I know he's hungry or whatever. So I go in the kitchen. I go get a little Ra something to eat. I sit him down at the table. I'm like, you okay? He's like, yeah. So he started eating and stuff, whatever, drinking his little milk or whatever. So then I'm like, I go back into the bathroom again, and this one is soaked bloody again. And I'm like, oh. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So now I remember my man Born. So I'm on Farmers in 119. Shout out to Queens in the building, Jamaica, Queens. So my man Born live up the street, and Crazy Dave live at the other end. So Born is my man, right? So Born, at one time I was picking up some weight for Born. Born had a connect. So Born is my man. He knew me from White Castle parking lot and Lacey's roller rink. I got a story I'm going to tell on one of the big channels about Lacey's. Brian Glaze Gibbs and Pappy Mason. Brian Glaze Gibbs told a story about him and Pappy Mason went to Lacey's looking to kill this dude. I was there. I got a story I'm going to tell you about that. I was there. So a lot of people know me from Lacey's and White Castles after Lacey's and my cars. You know what I mean? So when I moved to that part of Queens, when I moved there, the dude on the block, his name was Born. He was already living there. So when I moved there, one day I was taking the groceries in, and he was like, yo, my man, come here. You know what I mean? So I came down there. He's like, yo, what's up? You just moved in? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm in Rashawn. He's like, I know who you are. I'm like, you know me? He's like, yeah, I know you, man. I know you. He said, you from Long Island, right? I said, yeah. I'm like, how you know me? He said, I know you from Lacey's and White Castle parking lot. He said, yeah, you boys are wild. I remember one time in White Castle, and I'm going to tell that story. So I remember y'all had it going on in the parking lot. Y'all had a big riot. I said, oh, you was there? He said, yeah. I said, that's when I had the Fendi joint. He said, no, I think it was the Fendi joint. I don't remember. The Fendi was after. Yes, Fendi was after the Big Benz. Yes, absolutely. I think so. I lose my time frame. But anyway, I don't remember that correctly. But he's talking about one of my cars, right? So he's like, yeah, I was there. So me knowing that he was there to see that, I'm going to tell that story on here one day. I said, oh, yeah, he know I'm official there. I'm like, if he was there, he know already. Like, he know. He's like, yeah, y'all dudes is crazy. I'm like, yeah, that was kind of crazy. Yeah, like that was crazy, right? So I'm going to tell that story on here one day, right? So he became my man. So that's how he knew. He knew me. So he had the respect level and all that. So he introduced me to Crazy Dave and everybody else who was on the block. So he introduced me like, yo, this is Rashawn, the official from Strong Island, from the official, you know what I mean? So my block, you know, them queens, they knew me. So I had my place set on the block. I'm straight. So they knew, you know, I ain't have to put it down or whatever, because I was trying to go low key anyway. But somebody knew me, you know what I mean? I was kind of famous. That's what I said back in the days. I'm kind of famous in the streets, right? From my 98, everybody know we did so much, right? So anyway, so I'm in the house, so I'm thinking, okay, now Born is hustling, so he's home in the day too, right? But Born is an early morning dude. He get up early in the morning. So I hustle overnight. Born type, he be up early. He had a Lexus, a brand new Lexus with Adonis rims, the ones with the big chrome balls on the end. For those who old school watch this, these was the official. I'm talking those days when Antera rims, when Biggie said chrome rim with Antera rims. These the rappers rapped about. We was living it. Biggie and all them, before they got their record deal, rapping about, we was living it. So Born had the crazy Lexus coupe. So if y'all know the Lost Boys song, the Lex coupe Beamers in the Benz for all my radio, that famous song, this is the time of the Lex coupes, okay? Lex coupes was the hottest, the Tudor. He had a black Tudor Lex coupe, right? Back when the Lex coupe Beamers in the Benz, right? So this when they first dropped. So he had one with the chrome Adonis rims on it. So Born would be up early. I see him get up, go take his car to the car wash. He'd be out going to Jamaica Avenue or something. He was a pretty boy too. Born was one of the pretty butter soft skin dudes. Like he was just pretty. I was like, dang, you know what I mean? I'm like one of them handsome, pretty boys, real pretty boy, right? I was like, dang, I wish my parents gave me good G's like that, right? Like skin look like cocoa butter or something. I'm like, you gotta stay away from my girl. I'm like, one of those. I'm like, boy, you ain't coming to the crib. He one of those. I'm not bringing you in the crib. Man, the devil's a lie. I was always wise. I don't care. I'm like, you too pretty, boy. You stay away from my girl. I bet not even see you look at my girl, right? But he was respectful, but that was my man. Born was a pretty boy, right? So anyway, so and I'm in there. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I know Born is up, and it's probably I need to hurry up because he probably going to drive out. He going to Jamaica Avenue shopping or go and get some girls or something. So I'm like, I need to go down there and get Born. I need to go to the hospital. You feel me? I'm like, I got to go to the hospital. God, it's soaked up the second thing, and I'm like, I'm losing a lot of blood. So I'm starting to get, yes, Feya, you could have gone into shock. That's what I'm talking about, Feya. Exactly. I'm starting to lose so much blood that I'm starting to get lightheaded, right? So I'm like, you know, if I go to sleep, I could die. I know this. I got common sense, right? So I'm like, this is bad. This is worse than I can imagine. I'm like, I can't do this myself. So I was like, all right. So now I got to get Lil Rod dressed again. So, but he's already got clothes on, but I got to get him ready for us to go because now I'm going to go to the hospital. So I got to pack a bag. See, this is man stuff. This is daddy daycare. This is real men who really take care of their kids. I took care of my kids, right? So I raised them. So now I got to pack a whole new bag. Now I got to find one of the extra baby bags because I lost the new baby bag. But you know, y'all always, you know how the baby bags get old and the milk gets smelly because the milk spilled in it. Y'all know I know what I'm talking about, right? So the milk spilled in it. So you got to clean out so you get a new baby bag, right? Or you have a couple different ones if your wife want to have different baby bags. So I got to find an old baby bag. So I find an old baby bag. Now I got to make his bottles. I got to grab his diapers. I got to, you know what I mean? I got to do all that. I got to grab a pack of wipes. So, you know, I make the bag because I know we going to the hospital. I need to make a bunch of bottles and stuff. I need to put some snacks. Yeah, I'm thinking of my son. I need to grab some little chips and snacks, you know what I mean? So I make yes, baby, I definitely super dad. And I'm half dead. But of course, we think of our children. This is survival instincts, right? This is what we are called to be. We're called to protect the old, the young, the meek, the humble, the widows, all of it, the babies, the orphans. That's what we're called from the Most High. So, and I take care of my own. It's just all I know. So I get Little Rod, all his bag stuff together, Little Rod straight. I got everything together. So now I got to pick him up. Oh my goodness. Now, guys, understand, once your adrenaline, remember, adrenaline is the thing that really stops and numbs the pain, and you focus and not panicking. Once you calm and your serotonin levels and your adrenaline, everything starts to settle. That's when everything starts to settle. That's when you, so I know I was in pain until I went to try to pick them up. I went to try to pick them up, and it was like, it was like somebody took a knife and just stabbed me right in my back. I said, oh my. I was like, that's not going to happen. I was like, yo, Rob, you got to walk. Okay? He said, okay. It's like he knew what was happening. He was quiet the whole time. Rob used to cry all the time. Rob was the most annoying baby in the world. He's one of them bad babies. You know, my daughter Star, she was the best baby in the world. Never cry, ever, 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 for nothing. She just, when she won a bottle, let me know she won a bottle or a diaper change. Rob, he'd cry nonstop. I used to think he was a man trapped in a baby's body. Little Rob was a miserable child. He was so active that it felt like he was trapped in a baby's body. But he wanted to move and jump and run when he couldn't run. He used to be in the crib pissed. I'm like, why are you so angry, little boy? He used to throw his bottle. He used to throw his bottle in the crib and it'll smash against the wall and explode and milk everywhere. I'm like, he would throw the bottle, boom. And I'm like, this little boy is the angriest. And then I had to realize, I said, oh, he's trapped in the baby's body. He's literally trapped. He wants to be able to run and move, and he gets frustrated because he can't, his body wouldn't catch up to his mind. And once me and my ex realized that, me and my baby mother, we realized that we was able to deal with him better because we knew he was just stressed out. He was a stressed out little kid. He was horrible. He was the worst kid in the world. He would cry. We got stories. Even Star got stories as we got older. He would just cry all the time. He was just miserable. He just wanted to be out of that baby's body so he can move and run and do stuff, right? So I'm realizing Rod, he must realize what's going on because he ain't cried one time. He was just like, I said, you can walk? He said, uh-huh. I said, okay, come on. So we walk. Now I can't walk. I'm like limping. I'm bent over. So I did a new wrap, right, of my hand with a new shirt. I done ruined 2 already. This is going to be 3. I wrapped it again, got him all together, got my bag, put the bag over my shoulder, like you put it over your head and let it hang to the back. So I got his hand. So we go up the little steps because I'm in the basement. We go up the steps. We open the door. I lock the door. I go out. Now, Bourne lived 2 houses down to the left. So I come out. So, I'm still from the streets. So as soon as I come out my yard, I stop. I got to look for police, right? I'm still from the streets. I look, no police, everything quiet. I don't hear no sirens. I heard sirens in the distance. So anyway, when I was washing up, I could hear sirens all over. They were searching for me for a long time. I heard sirens go up my street. You hear the cars go, vroom, and up. They going around because I can hear it from my basement. I got windows in my basement, basement windows. Those little small New Yorkers know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, I'm hearing it. So by the time this is hours later, they gone, right? I guess they realized he gone. They couldn't catch me. So I look, no cops. So I walk down. I see, when I go out, I see Bourne's Lexus is still there. He's still there. I said, good, Bourne home. So I knock on the door. His pops came to the door. Now, Bourne pops used to smoke. He smoked crack, but he was a functioning crackhead. He was a tall, light-skinned, pretty boy. That's where Bourne get it. I guess, he got 2 pretty parents. So Bourne get the pretty boy stuff from his pretty parents, right? So Pop, I like Pop. So Bourne would sell crack to his pop, and sometime when Bourne didn't want to sell it to him, his pop would come to me. And I remember me and Bourne had a discussion, and Bourne's like, I really don't want you to sell it, but you know what? I'd rather he get it from you because then he's going to be going in all type of Queens and all type on South Side over there, Supreme Team and them and all that. And, he could get into something. So he's like, I can't stop it. So I'd rather him buy it from you. So I was like, all right, I got you. So whenever he come, I'll take care of him. He's like, all right, thanks. That's kind of our reality, guys. Living in the crack era, you have family members that were strung out on crack and you had to deal with it. So his dad, who he lived with, but he was a functioning crackhead, but Born, helped him out with his rent. And his dad was fly. He kept little crackhead women and stuff. He always kept a prostitute and all that. He was a funny old timer. He's an old time. He looked good too to be his age, even doing crack. But this was our reality. So his pops answered the door. Pop. So he know me, so I always look out for him. He'll come late at night sometime, or if I'm home or somewhere early in the morning, I'll look out for him. Here, Pop, go ahead. So he opened the door and he like, whoa, what's wrong? Because now this new bandage is bloody red. So he's like, what's wrong with you? What happened? He said, the police looking for you? I said, yeah. He said, come in. Come in, close the door. So I come in, close the door. He's like, Born, get your butt down here. So Born come down. So Born like, yo, what up, Rob? I'm like, yo, son, I need to go to the hospital. He like, what happened? I said, man, I'll tell you, I need to go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm losing, like, I'm passing out. Like, I'm holding on, but I'm ready to pass. Like, I'm seeing, like, my vision is blurry, all type of stuff. Like, I'm losing too much blood. So I'm like, I need to go to the hospital. So Born like, all right, come on. He looking. So his pop's like, yo, we need to change that bandage. I said, it's just a shirt. So I said, just get me another shirt. So he went and got me another shirt, and we just wrapped it again. So we wrapped it around everything. So Born grabbed his stuff. So like, come on. So he said, all right, let me go out first to make sure ain't no cops. So he went out. He's like, all right, ain't no cops. Come on. So we got in his car. We got in his Lex Coupe. So he got tinted window. So we pulled off. So now when we pulled off, he was like, he was like, I don't know where to take you. He said, you know what? I'm gonna take you to Jamaica Hospital because they got a trauma center, something like that, right? So he's like, all right. So we make the left when we hit Farmers. So we got to go up. So now to get to Jamaica Hospital, we got to get on the Parkway, right, and take it up. So we start to go, and when we start to go up, Born is like, he like, nah. He said, if we hit, because now it's later in the day, right? So he's like, if we hit Jamaica Hospital, we're going to run into all that traffic on the Belt Parkway, and we're going to be stuck in traffic. And he see now my thing is filling up again. And he see me like, I'm like lightheaded. Like, I'm like trying to stay awake. You know what I mean? And I'm sweating, and I guess I'm looking pale because I done lost tons of blood. Like, I'm probably looking dead. So he's looking at me as he's driving, and he's talking to himself, and he like, nah, I can't take him to Jamaica Hospital. I can't take you to Jamaica Hospital. We're going to get stuck in traffic. I ain't trying to lose you, Rob. I ain't trying to lose you. So I'm like, I can't even talk, right? No, my son, no, he came with us. He's in the car with us. Lil Rod's in the car with us. So he in the back seat. So so he's talking, right? He's talking to himself, and he keeps looking over at me. So I'm kind of trying not to go to sleep because I know better than to go to sleep. And he's saying too, Rod, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. I'm like, I'm not. So he's like, I can't take you to Jamaica Hospital. I can't take you to Jamaica Hospital. So he's thinking, he's like, oh, fuck it. And he turned the car around, pardon my language. He turned around. He's like, we got to go to Mary Immaculate. So Mary Immaculate is by Jamaica Avenue. It's on the back streets by Jamaica, by the shopping center where we shop. And Mary Immaculate became the ground 01 for the pandemic. Remember when the Jim Jones jab juice stuff was going on? That was the one they kept showing on TV, and they said New York was the hot spot. They kept showing Mary Immaculate Hospital. So I remember when I seen it, I said, that's the doggone hospital. Talking about it was ground 0 for the Jim Jones, that scare that they had. I don't want to say it so we don't get flagged, right? That foolishness, right? So anyway, so he like, I got to take you to Mary Immaculate. So now it's a long drive, right? So we driving. So bang, we get to Mary Immaculate, right? So we pull up, and when we pull up, there's a bunch of cop cars there, right? But that's normal for hospitals, right? Cops take people in emergency, right? So we pull up, we go, we get out. So he helps me out, right? Because I'm like out of it. So I get out. So he grabs little Ra, and he's holding little Ra, and so he holding me. So I like holding him as like a crutch. So now all the pain from me relaxing and sitting, I could barely walk. I can't twist. I can't barely move. So we start walking in to Mary Immaculate, right? So we get inside, blood, this thing is filled with blood. So we get inside, right? So they run up, they're like, what happened? What happened? So, Born know like I know. We just like, he was in the fight and he cut himself. Someone tried to cut him, right? That was it. He was in the fight, someone tried to cut him. So I'm like, yeah, I think they cut my thumb off. So they're like, okay. So they get the thing and everything. Say, okay, take him over here. So they start to take me back, right? So now Born is like, he's like, all right, I'll keep little Ra, right? So I'm like, all right, thank you, Born. So I know little Ra straight. I got his baby bag, and Born got a little girl too. So Born watches his little girl sometime in the daytime too, when his baby mama bring him up. So Born good with kids. Born's a good dude. You know what I mean? So I know little Ra safe with Born. So he like, I got him, Ra. I'm like, everything in the baby bag. He got snacks. He got all of it. He like, all right. So he like, so they take me into the back, right? So now they gotta walk me because I can't even walk. So I'm walking, and then this is the crazy part. We walking through the hallway to get to my hospital room. So as we walk in and they walking me, and all of a sudden I see these police. So it's two police, and we walking, and we get to a room, and I look eye to eye with the old man. Eye to eye. I look, and I'm like, and he look at me, and I'm like, and he goes, that's him. He just yells, that's him. That's him. I don't even realize what I said, daughter of Yamashiach Yavana. Whatever I said, I rebuke that in the name of Yahusha, in the name of Mashiach Yahusha. For those, that's the Son of the Most High, guys. That's his true Hebrew name. They call him Jesus, but his Hebrew name is Yahusha. So I know, Fayah. I look now. I can walk half dead. They come. I look, and it's him, and he's sitting up on the thing. So he got the dress. They put the dress on you. So he's sitting up on the table with that dress thing that they cover you with. You don't got no pants on, and he like, that's him. That's him. And he started yelling, and I'm like, I can't believe. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And the police go and they run into his room, and he's like, that's him right there. So the police turn around and they come and they're like, that's him. You're under arrest. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. They're like, you're under arrest. So then the doctor said, stop. He has to get it, he's losing blood. We got to get him. No, you're going to. So it was like, okay, well, we're going, what room? They was like, we're taking him into room such and such. So it was like, okay, once you're finished with him, he's under arrest. So we're gonna be stationed outside his door. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The odds, guys. I'm like, what Charles said, we should do some short stories on me, bro. I'm from, all right, no doubt. I got you, King. You can be a guest on the show. So just hit me up. Uncle Yahshua Truth TV at yahoo.com. All right, that's my email address. All right, so I'm yo, guys, I'm like tripping because I'm like, I did all this time running for the police. Like, yes, I said, you cannot make this up. No, you cannot. I did all of this running from the police. I mean, I ran up farmers, ran through the yards, fell over the fence, all the blood, I did all this to go to the hospital for the police. For them to say, I said, you gotta be kidding me. I might as well just stayed and got arrested. It would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of everything. My luck, I swear. My life. That was my life. I swear that was my life. That was my life. That's like the story of my life, literally right there. That's how my life always went. So I'm looking and I'm like, so now they take me in, right? So now, this is the funny part. Because now the whole hospital, because he yelled, so the whole hospital was alerted, right? So all the doctors, nurses, everybody run. So now the nurses and doctors who was treating me nicely, now they treated me like I'm a criminal. Now they treated me mean. I'm like, oh, this is just what I need. Right? Like, I'm a nice guy. I got my little baby boy out there in the, I'm like, dude. So now they come in and they treating me mean, right? So every demeanor just changed. So now I'm a criminal. I guess they realized I don't know what lie he told them. So I think they probably thinking like, oh, this is some young thug. He went and tried to beat up on this old man, right? Now y'all know, because so imagine how even the cops. So imagine how the cops are treating me now, right? So everybody's treating me like I'm public enemy number one, right? Like I went and started, because he probably lied and said he tried to rob my shop and everything. He was yelling, and I had to do this and all that. I defended myself, right? Because he's in the hospital because I don't know when he fell. When we fell, he must have hurt himself. You know what I mean? Because we fell. I couldn't, because we fell. He fell on top of me, but I'm quite sure his arm probably hit metal or something. I don't know how he hurt himself, but he was in the hospital, right? I don't know if he was faking. He probably was trying to do that to get a hospital report because he was trying to take my car. I remember, I never forget, he said, I'm going to get a mechanic's lien and this is going to be my car. So he's probably a wise old crook and realized I need to go play this up, go to the hospital. I got a police report. I got a hospital report. I take out the mechanic's lien. I get this car free and clear, right? So I'm putting stuff later too because this story, it's the full story. So now they treated me mean as crap, right? So now the doctor come in, they got an attitude. So before they was all nice, like they want to help me. Now they leaving me. Now they like, well, we just need to. So then the doctor came in. So I remember I heard them distinctly say when they was taking me, when the cops was first, when they first said, the cops was like, we got to rush him into surgery. I remember this distinctly. They said, we got to rush him into surgery. He needs emergency surgery. Now, when they get me in the room, I hear the doctor come in, and the doctor said, I think the nurse said something about, so we something with the surgery. He said, no, we're gonna stitch him up. And I remember hearing it, but I was so weak and stuff from loss of blood that I didn't really put it together till later. They were supposed to do a surgery. I was supposed to get laser surgery procedure, but that doctor now wants to treat me like a slave, basically. So he's like, nah, so we're going to stitch him up. So they go, they do that pain was insane because now they got to stick needles. They got to wash it. Oh, boy. Talk about pain. Y'all want to hear some pain, boy. I was like, wow, they have to wash it and clean it and do it, and then stick needles in to numb it, right? So they got to stick a needle into the thing to numb. Oh, that pain was insane, whatever. So they do all the things. So they stitch me up. So I got stitches all the way from here, all the way around, all the way around. Well, it starts from here, right? So these are stitch marks all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around to here, all the way to here. Sorry. So it stitches a bunch of them. So they stitch my whole thing up, right? And my thing is purple and big and, whatever. So they stitch me up, right? And then after they stitch me up, right? So they got to do all the paperwork and the procedures and stuff, right? So now the cops is there. So the cops already called it in. So they're like, we got one coming down to central booking, right? So I'm like, oh, now I'm going to jail. Like, can't make this up. I'm like, really, God? This is horrible, right? Yes, definitely worst day ever. So So after they stitched me up and I'm waiting, they doing all the paperwork and all that stuff. Another East Indian, right? East Indian surgeon, because a lot of that part of Queens and Hillside, there's a lot of East Indians over there, right? That's their area over there. For those who know about Hillside and Jamaica Avenue and all that, over by Mary Immaculate. So those East Indian doctor, he came in. So it was an East Indian nurse lady. She was kind of nice to me, right? Because she seen they was treating me bad. So she came in, she was looking at me. She's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." So she was like, "All right, let me know if you need some." So she must have went and told the a surgeon or something. She must have went and told the surgeon that I guess she knew I was supposed to get surgery. So the surgeon doctor, East Indian doctor, came in there. So he came in, he said, "Let me see your hand." Right? He talked, with the East Indian accent. So I turned my hand and he looked, right? And he was like, "This is bad." With the 7-Eleven accent, I don't want to try to mimic the accent, talk like Johnny number 5, at the 7-Eleven, "This is bad." You know how they talk. I don't mean no disrespect. But he was like, "This is bad." He said, "No good. No good." He said, "They were supposed to do surgery. It was mandatory that they do surgery." He said, "You, for the rest of your life, it would never heal. You will have pain for the rest of your life." And I'm like, he said, "No good. This no good. This no good." And then the lady said, "I told you, doc. I told you." And he turned and he looked at me. He said, "No good." And he turned and looked at the officers. He said, "This no good. This man needed surgery." And he walked out. And to this day, he's right. Right now, when I take my finger, this was 30 years ago. This is 1992 or something, 1991. This is 2023. I don't know how long ago that was. Add it up. Right now, when I take my finger, right now it feels like pins and needles. Right now it hurts. As soon as I just rub it across lightly like that, I just did it, and it feels like pins and needles sticking in. And every now and then when it rains with the weather, it hurts. I'm thankful that I can use the hand and I can lift weights, and the weights fall across my palm right at the top. And I always position the weights where it doesn't lay on this part. It's sensitive. To this day, when I do like that, it hurts. Like right there, that hurt. And now my finger's ringing, my whole thumb. He said it. He was correct. He knew forever. And when it rains, I feel something. Now, so he walks out, right? So now the other doctor who did it, the nurse come back. So now they got to finish me up. So they bandage me up, right? They put they put this big white bandage. I got a big mitt. Like I got a big mitten. You know what I mean? Like it's huge. So because this is horrible, right? I was supposed to have surgery, right? So I got this big white mitt on my hand, right? So now they pick me up. I'm sore as all outdoors. So the cops come and they can't like really put handcuffs on me because of the thing. So they just walk me. They're like, you okay? You ain't. I'm like, I can't run, man. I can't even walk. Right? So they're like, he good. So they walk me out the room. And when they walk me out the room, the old man is standing in the hallway. So he's standing in the hallway. So I'm walking, I'm limping, and I walk and I look and I said, this mother, this mother effer, right? So I'm like, and he like, yeah. He said, now I got me a brand new pretty car. I said, this mother effer. I'm like, I look at the cops, I'm like, he said, yeah, that's what you get. Now I got me a brand new pretty car. I got me a pretty car. I'm giving that to my wife. She got her a pretty present coming. And I was like, wow. And I had bought it for my girl. And I couldn't even entertain it no more, guys. So I just limped past him. I just ignored him. You know what I mean? And he was yelling at me down the hallway, talking all this crap. being bragging and all, good for you, and all that. I'ma sue you, all this crap, right? So they walk me. Now they take me down to central booking. They take me into central booking, bang. They take me through, then they finish processing me. They go through all this crap. I'm there, I'm in the jail. I'm like, I'm in the cage or whatever. Central, that takes all freaking day. So now, as they taking me out, before that, they taking me out. When they taking me to go walk through the thing, Born. I look at Born, right? So I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, Born. I'm like, he like, yo. I'm like, they locking me up, boy. He like, what happened? I said, dude, the man was in this hospital. And Born was like, I knew I should have took you to Jamaica Hospital. I'm like, oh, wow, right? I forgot he was originally trying to take me to Jamaica Hospital. I'm like, oh, that's the only thing I kept thinking, crap. Why he couldn't have just took me to Jamaica Hospital, right? So I was like, yo, Born, I need you to hold it down. Take little Ra. I said, Pam will be home. She should be home by the time y'all get back, right? So he's like, I got you, Ra. I got you. I'm like, good looking, Born. He said, all right, I got you. He said, yo, I'm going to come. He said, I'm going to get you a lawyer. You know what I mean? He like, I got you. I'm going to get you a lawyer. I'm coming to get you. So I was like, all right, that's what's up. So we started to walk, and you know how the doors open? This is funny. So when the doors open, I realized, and I said, excuse me, officer, hold on for 1 second. I said, could it stop? I turned around, I said, boy. He said, what? I said, stay away from Pam. And he bust out laughing. I'm like, stay away from Pam. Born too pretty. I'm like, you get your little pretty self away from, like, stay away from Pam. Don't be looking at her eyes. He had colored eyes and all that. He a real pretty boy. I'm like, stay away from Pam. Like, facts. Don't be looking at her all in her eyes. Then it mesmerized her. I fall in love. I'm for real. I'm real. I'm like, stay away from Pam. He just bust out laughing. You know what that nigga Born know? He one of the prettiest dudes in the world. He remind me of Absalom from the scriptures. Anybody know the story of Absalom? I'm like, stay your Absalom butt away from Pam. I know that's right. He's like, I got you right. I'm like, all right. So then I went out. Now, they take me to jail, right? So they take me to central booking first. So they take us in. I'm there all day, right? It's forever. So my thing, guys, then soaked. This big bandage, so as I'm sitting in central booking all night, all day, before they take me over, I'm starting to see red droplets through the white bandage. So I'm like, oh man, right? I'm like, okay, this is bad, right? So I'm starting to see, so it's starting to turn red, right? It's starting to spread. So we're in central booking. So finally, you're there forever. Central booking, sometimes keep you there 24 hours, but luckily it was only like 10, 12 hours. We're there forever. It's late at night or something or whatever. So now they're taking me over to Queen's house, right? So they're taking me over to Queen's. Hold on. Yeah. So they take, they're taking me Kew Gardens. I think they're taking me to Queen's house is Kew Gardens. That's right. So they're taking me over to Queen's house, whatever, right? So because I think the central booking was overcrowded, so they shipping us. That's what it was. So they shipping the first group of us who came in to Queen's house to await. So you got to wait Queen's house so you can go up to see the judge, right? To see, get whatever's going to happen to you. So they take us over to Queen's house. So now we go over to Queen's house. So by the time we get over to Queen's house, they got to ship us, right? They got to transfer us. By the time we get there, my thing is red. My whole white mitt is a red mitt, right? That thing red. So they take us over to Queen's house. So when we get to Queen's house, they take us to the cage, it's wild. Like, you hear Like, you know, niggas in, pardon my language, niggas in jail, right? This jail. So I'm like, oh, and I've been in Queen's house before. So I'm like, oh, I'm in jail with one hand. Oh, that's bad. And I ain't in Strong Island. So if I'm in Strong Island, if I'm in Nassau County, everybody know me. I'm a legend. I'm in Queens. There's still Queens people who know me because I'm still a legend, but not like Strong Island. You see? So there's going to be people who know me, but it's going to be spotty. You know what I mean? But my legend ain't, you know, I'm not from Queens like that. You know, I've lived in Queens a bunch, you know, I've lived there a bunch of times, South Side, North. So I know people know me. Like some people might know my legend and see me, that's that dude from the 9-8 Hustle or the Nasty 4 or whatever. But it's not like Strong Island, Nassau County. I'm saying Nassau because if I went to Suffolk County jail, none of them know me. That's Suffolk County, a whole different world out there when my story with Huntington and out there, right? With Keith Murray and EPMD and Rakim and all them wine dances. So that's a whole, I ain't trying to go to jail out there. It's like me being, you know, in another state. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm in jail now. I'm in Queen's house and I got one hand. That ain't okay, right? I got one hand and I also can't move. Like I can't walk, guys. I'm battling some pain that, you know, my back is bruised like crazy. I can't, everything's sore. Because you guys, you know, when you rumble, you go through stuff, everything's sore, but I've been battling through it. So I'm in there, right? So I'm in there, and then it's just wow. I hear all the noise, and I'm like, oh, that's when I realized, oh crap, I'm going to jail with one hand. This gonna be a rough bid for me, right? I'm like, this gonna be rough. Like, this gonna be really rough. I ain't never faced this before. I can't fight. I can't even move. What I'm gonna do? I can't defend myself. I can't punch. I can't even move. I'm like, oh boy. And I'm not protected because I'm not I'm not the legend that I am in Strong Island right here. So I'm like, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be a really bad bit. So we get in, they take me finally to the cage where we're gonna wait. It's like a bullpen. So it's like 30 people in there. So they take me in a bullpen. So when they take us in, they take me, it's already 30 people in there. So when I walk in, I'm immediately looking and assessing, right? So it's mad Puerto Ricans, mad Hispanics in there, right? That's why I'm a little confused. I'm like, I wasn't at Rikers. I know I wasn't yet, right? I wasn't at Rikers, but it just confused me because it was so many. I guess it was just what happened in Queen's house on this particular, whatever happened. So it was mad Hispanics. And this is the time where the Hispanic and the blacks were at war, the Latin Kings. And this is when the Bloods first started, but they were on Rikers. They didn't spread yet. This is 91, right? They didn't really spread yet. This is when they first was starting in Rikers. So they wasn't really outside yet. It was just starting. So Bloods in New York. I mean, New York Bloods. I'm sorry for my Cali, brother. The New York Bloods was just starting. So the war was on between the black and the Hispanics because the Latin Kings and Nietas and stuff and them, they used to rule the jail, the New York City jail. They ruled it. That's why the Bloods was formed, right? For oppression. Because, I mean, the New York Bloods, that's why they formed for the oppression because the Hispanics was running stuff and they was, right? So when I went in, all the poppies, the Hispanics, they was on go. Like, they was like running the bullpen. And where I'm from, a Strong Island, no, it ain't like that. All right? It wasn't like that. The Hispanics was not running. They, they had their foundation, but they wasn't running nothing, right? So in Rikers, in the New York City jail system, it was different. So especially in the 90s, we talking 91. Everybody from that era know what I'm talking about. They was running the jails. Y'all heard the jail stories of how the Blood started. This was facts. So when I went in, the Hispanics was like sizing, they was like bullying stuff, right? So I went in and I'm injured, right? So I'm like a prey. I walked in and I'm not 6. I'm small. I'm not even working out really. I'm busting my gun, so I'm not even big or nothing, right? So I walk in, and everybody that come in, they like sizing people up, and there's like benches, and there's like nowhere to really sit. So I'm like, crap, man. I gotta have to sit on this nasty floor. Then they got the toilet over there where you piss and you don't want to be by that toilet. So I'm like, I'll stand before I sit by the toilet. You sit by that toilet, you making yourself a mark, right? You don't want to sit. No, I don't give a crap if it ain't no seats. Don't sit by the toilet. You're gonna become a victim because that means you're a low life. Like you're gonna sit, people pissing all over. Nah, I'm like, I'm gonna stand before I sit anywhere near that toilet. You know what I mean? And I ain't got the things to make me get myself a seat, right? And I wouldn't have did that anyway because you got to survey. I'm outnumbered and I don't know, like I got to assess first. So I wouldn't have went in there trying to be no fool. That's how you become food. That's how you get killed, stabbed up and stuff, right? So I was going to assess anyway. So I was looking around like, okay, I'm going to have to try to find a little seat somewhere. I'm going to have to stand, whatever. I just got to deal with it. You know, it's my reality. So I'm in there. So the Hispanics is setting it on people. They already like, those sneakers, those gonna be mine. They already preparing for when we get transferred, right? So if you go into Rikers or if you're gonna stay in Queens House, so you know what I mean. If you gotta, depending on what charges, you're gonna be shipped to Rikers, or depending on what happened, and if, depending on what your charges, you can stay in Queens House, right? So either way, they're like, if they looking at if you stay in Queens House, we're gonna get you here. If you go to Rikers, we're gonna get you there. They already just, so I'm like, I'm not used to that. So I'm like, dang, dude. And now this is the problem, guys. They're speaking Spanish. So we can't even understand. We are really at a disadvantage because the blacks, the so-called blacks, we can't understand what they're saying. So they're saying, so they're scheming, and we can't even figure out that's a real disadvantage. Because listen, they could be saying, all right, we're going to get him. So we're going to get him. We're going to tell him. We're going to do this. You go to the left and you go to, they could be saying all this stuff and you don't even know they're talking about you. So they steady like, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. So it was one black dude in there, and he had a curly afro or whatever, but he was darker brown than me or whatever. He was there. So he was chilling. He was tall. He was chilling on the wall. You know, he had his screw face on. You know what I mean? And so I seen like they wasn't messing with him. So, you know, I automatically assess. I could see the alpha males, super alphas, whatever, betas, whatever. I could already assess. So I already assessed him. I'm like, he official, right? Everybody else, kind of, for the most part, was food. I mean, beta males. No, none of the other blacks was really, nobody was really that official, but that one dude. Right, so I already peeped him. He had his foot on the wall. He was like this, you know, screw facing. So the Hispanics, they was just running like it was their house, right? They was just, you know, screwing everything, going up to people. So, you know, when they bought their little milks and the little sandwich, they taking people's sandwiches and milks. I'm like, this dude is crazy. This ain't how it working in Nassau County. It don't work like that there. But I understand that's just the system, right? They were outnumbered. The Hispanics was outnumbering people, and then they speak the language. It was bad. So anyway, so they setting on people. So I'm trying to kind of like just stay out of the way, right? So I'm kind of like, you know, blend in and stay out of the way. I'm trying to avoid any eye contact. I don't want them looking at me and like, well, what you looking at? You know what I mean? So I kind of like, so then they messing with people. They took people lunch. They doing all this. So we in there for a while. So we about an hour in there. And then one Hispanic dude, he started looking at me. So I look up, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. My instincts. He already zoning in. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. I just couldn't avoid it. So he looking, I look up, he looking, I look down. And whatever, I look up again, he looking at me. I look down, whatever. I look up again. I said, crap, it's on. He's staring. He said, what are you looking at, Papa? I'm like, oh. And I just look away. And I'm like, oh. So when I look away, guys, I look down and my thing is just red and blood is dripping. blood is starting to drip down my arm. And I'm like, oh, man, this thing is still bleeding, right? So my thing is totally red. So I'm sitting there and I just look down. He said, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You with the bandage. So I'm like, he said, oh, what, you can't look up? You can't look up? And then he got off, like he was sitting on the bench, but with his feet on the bench. You know, you sit with your feet on the bench, he was sitting there like this. So he got up off the bench and I look up and I'm like, oh. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, oh man, what can I do? I'm like, I can't do nothing. I'm literally like, I can't even fight. I can't even defend myself. At this point, guys, I can't even move, right? I can't even move. So I'm just a victim, right? I'm a victim, right? So oh, that's what you said, daughter of Yah. Okay, praise Yah. It's talking about losing my voice. Thank you. So I look up at him and I'm like, okay, only thing I can do is try to block whatever he do. And in Rikers, guys, it's all about stabbing. They got razors and shanks. In Nassau County, it's all about fighting, hitting you with mop ringers and bucket, because we don't really got that many shanks because it's a different system. They give us 90 years. This ain't New York. This ain't New York City and Nassau County. They give you 90 years for anything small. So it ain't like you're going to bang somebody else. Oh, Nick, Paul Malone, you're going to get life. So Nick, people are duking it out and, you know, they're still tearing you up with stuff, but it ain't razors and all that. It's probably now, but back then, I'm talking the 90s. It was gladiator school with and you know, you get mop ringers and all that type of stuff, but wasn't really razors and knives and stuff for the most part, right? We had some. I had one in there, ox and all that, but Rikers is straight murder season, straight cutting you up, stabbing you. So it'll be like all of Hispanics, it'll be 7 of them to jump out with razors, and they call it razor tag, or they call it tic-tac-toe. They play tic-tac-toe on your face. Facts. And they want to rip your face. They want to scar you for life. So they'll literally etch tic-tac-toe on your face. X-O, X-O, literally. Facts. And then they're $1.50. That's the $1.50, right? Holds 150 stitches. Cut you from your mouth to your ear, right? $1.50. $1.50 your face. This is the time when the $1.50 was started. It's the crack ever. It's the early 90s, 89, 91. It's 91 or 90 when this happened. All right. So this is the worst time. Y'all see all the Rikers Island stories. I'm in it now. So I already know, like, man, only thing I could do is try to defend myself because I don't want him to pull out the razors and I can't fight. If I fight them, they're going to jump me and they're going to slice me up. They could kill me before the COs come and stop it. They'll kill you. This was those days. Plenty of people got killed, right? Stabbed up. So I'm like this. So he gets off the bench. So he starts walking over. So he said, yeah, I'm talking to you with the bandages. So I look up. So I'm like, shit, pardon me. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I'm thinking the only thing I can do is kind of ball up and go like this, right? And just hope till the COs come. That's it. What else can I do? I'm done for, right? So he walk over. He like, yeah. So now I don't realize, guys, that I got like $200 sneaker. Remember, I'm Rashawn. I'm rich. Not rich millionaire, but I'll go on my own block. I'm rich. You know what I mean? I got Benzes. I got all, like, I'm not realizing my pants is worth $200, $300. My sneakers is worth and I forgot. You know, I'm not even paying attention. So he come over and he like, yeah. He like, I don't know what, I might have had some Evisu jeans on or something. That's those $500 jeans. It's before Red Monkey jeans. Red Monkey's like $1,000. these are the Evisu jeans days with the big thing on the back of the pants. For those who know what I'm talking about. But whatever pants, I got some expensive, probably $500-$600 pants on, right? So he like, yeah, those sneakers coming with me. So that's when I realized, because I was like, why is he messing with me? And I was like, oh. I looked down, I'm like, oh man, dude. I am not the one to get beat up. I ain't the one to get robbed. I ain't the one to be standing there in their socks. That's not my life. Like, I fight to death. You're going to have to kill me. But I can't even fight, guys. I'm like, I'm food. I'm like, I can't even defend myself. So I looked down, I said, oh. So I'm like, my reality is like, okay, you're going to have to give him these sneakers and you're just going to have to be the dude. Listen clearly. You're going to have to be the dude that gets transferred over. So if they take you to Rikers or if they take you into the population into Queen's house, you're going to have to be that dude that's going in with no shoes. You're going to be those dudes going in with the Patakis. We used to call these shoes Patakis. We had a Governor Pataki back then who was a worse governor. And he issued these little orange crackhead shoes. We call them Patakis. Like, so I'm like, you're going to be the one wearing them Patakis, right? Martha Stewart had a brand too of these shoes. So I'm like, I'm going to be the dude walk around in his socks until you get the Patakis. That's going to make my bed hard. First of all, so I'm like, oh, but it's my reality, right? Because I know these Hispanics, so I'm like, either that or I'm going to get Swiss cheese, right? And I ain't trying to have them cut up my face, right? And cut me up and stab me up. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to just have to give him the shoes, right? So I'm like, so I looked down. He said, yeah, those. So I was like, shh. So I looked at him. And then I hear, right? I'm sorry, I'm not mocking the Spanish tongue, but I don't speak Spanish. I hear, yeah, how can I say dudes are like walking on Legos? Yeah, exactly. Nothing, no, yeah, exactly. So I hear, like the Spanish, right? So I look up and it's the black dude, the tall dude with his foot on the wall. He like, speaking Spanish. I'm like, damn, this dude speaks Spanish? So he like, sorry, I don't speak Spanish, right? So he like, and then the dude go, sorry, I'm not mocking it. And then the other ones go, and he's like, so he get off the wall and he stand in the middle. He come towards me, stand in the middle, like, right? And they're like, sorry, guys, I don't speak Spanish. I'm doing the best I can, right? So they're like, whatever. So they doing it all, and I'm just looking from him to him to them to him to them, right? So I'm like, what is going on? So then he comes closer to me, and he stands in front of me, and he just like, so then the Spanish dude backs up, and he's looking, they're like, and then whatever. So the Spanish dude goes back, and he goes back, and he sits down. So the black dude turned around. So he looked down at me because I'm sitting, I'm down, and he's standing over me. So he like, and I was sitting on the floor, just so you know. I didn't have a bench seat. I was sitting on the floor, but not by the toilet. I made a room. I got a room to sit on the floor. So I was sitting on the floor. So he stood standing over me. So he's like, so he said, he looked at the people in bench. He said, move, get up. So the dude looked. He said, get up. So they got up. He said, yo, bro, go ahead, sit down. So I got up, right? And I sat down on the bench. So he told the other dude, move. So the other dude moved. So he sat down next to me. So he sat down next to me. And then he's like, yo, what happened to you, dude? He's like, yo, you bleeding like crazy. So I looked, and I guess from the adrenaline of me about to be killed, like about to be Swiss cheese or whatever, and the anger because I can't defend myself, I guess my adrenaline made the thing bleed more. You know what I mean? So it must have made it just pump. So that thing was just dripping out of, it was just soaked. I was like, damn. He's like, yo, bro, you got to go to the hospital, man. He's like, what happened to you? I said, man, I had my little man, and this dude, this McKinn's old timer, tried to cut me with a machete. Then he pulled a gun on me. I had my son. He's like, damn. So I was like, yo, what was that? He said, yeah, they was going to come take his sneakers. He said, man, I told them, man, y'all ain't touching them. So I told them they can't even defend themselves. I'm like, y'all ain't touching them. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all going, and then he said, they ain't know that I speak Spanish. He said, I'm from the Bronx. He said, I'm from the Bronx, so I speak Spanish fluently. So I was like, that's what's up. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, they was going to set it on you. They was taking your sneakers. I said, I know. I figured that. I said, yo, good looking. He said, man, that's what's up. He said, man, you can't defend yourself. I ain't no way I'm going to let them set it on you like that. And I know you can't even defend yourself. I was like, thanks, man. Good looking, man. He's like, all right. He said, you're going to be all right. He said, yeah, you're going to be all right in here. You know what I mean? As long as I'm around. He said, well, if you come to Rikers, he said, I'm going to Rikers. He said, they shipping me to Rikers because I didn't stabbed up people. Like, I can't go to Queen's house. You know what I mean? I can't go to population in Queen's house. They shipping me straight to Rikers. He said, they taking me, I already know they're going to take me to HDM. So back then, HDM, that part, he said it was where they kept the crazy people, like the crazy of the crazies, like the most dangerous of the dangerous. At that, he told me then that was HDM. For those who was in Rikers at that time, you know what I mean? I'm just saying what he told me. So he said, they, yes, Faye, y'all, the Bronx in the house. He said, they taking me to HDM because I got bodies. You know what I mean? And I was like, he said, so if you come to Rikers and if they, if I ever see you, I'll put in the word for you. I was like, all right, good looking. He said, but I ain't going to be in Queen's house. So I was like, all right, thanks. Bang. So, we finished, you know what I mean? Everything. So then we there. So then it was, so some guard came, right? A guard came. So he started to tell us like, all right, we're going to start calling people up to see the judge, right? So we're going to start calling people up to see the judge. He said, when I call your name on the gate, get yourself ready. I'm going to call you up to see the judge. So when he said that, this like black dude was sleep on the floor, right? Like crackhead type of dude sleep on the floor. He got up, right? He's like, yo, CO. And CO was like, what you want? He's like, when the F I'm gonna see the judge? And CO was like, you see the judge when the F we want? He said, what? He started flipping. He said, what? Who the fuck you talking to? Who the F you talking to? You mother effer, I'll kill you. He started flipping. I said, this dude started losing it. So I'm looking, I'm like, what? He went from 0 to 10,000 immediately, right? So I'm like, this dude is tripping, right? So he just starts spazzing. So he calling the CO mother names and I'll do this to you and I'll F your mother. And I'm like, what? So the CO's like, what? Who you? So then the other COs came. He was like, yeah. He said, yeah, that loud mouth, he up again? He said, yeah. He's like, yeah, y'all come in here. He said, yeah, it take all y'all to take me. It take all y'all to take me. And they was like, you know what? We tired of him. It was like, get him out of there, right? It's like, you going to Rikers now. You going to HDM now. He said, I don't give a F. I don't give a F. That's where I want to go. HDM is my home. HDM, I kill niggas like you. I kill niggas like you. You pigs, take me. So they was like, so they went and they got the extraction team. Like we call them turtles on Rikers, but we ain't on Rikers. So they put the shields and the helmet and stuff on. So they came back. So they told everybody, back up. Everybody in the thing, back up. So I'm like, what is, like, I'm about to see a show, right? So I'm like, what is going on? So we all back up. So my man from the Bronx, he helped me. He like, cause I'm like, he's like, yo, come on, bro. Come. So I went to the back. So that dude spazzing. He's like, yeah, come on. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you pigs. I'm ready for you pigs. Come on. So he comes. So then they popped the gate. They opened it and they rushed in there with their batons and everything. And he started hooking off. Boom, he punching helmets. He kicking. They grab him. They hit him. Boom, crack him in the head. Boom, he fighting. they is just going crazy. He fighting, they beating him and kicking him, and I was like, yo, I was like, bird. I'm like, I don't want no parts of this. I swear I don't want no parts of this. I'm like, this is like a movie. I'm like, and he's screaming and kicking and biting, and they punch him, they drag him out, and they beating him all the way down the hallway and beating him and kicking him, and you hear him screaming and yelling and they screaming, and they all the way down the hallway. Then you hear him, they beat the brakes off him. You can hear him screaming until you hear no more screams. They beating him to, I guess they beat him unconscious or something, and you just heard no more screams. So then they closed the gate and they went out, and I'm like, dang. So now I'm like, oh man, this is my reality. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm going to have one hand for a very long time. So I'm screwed, right? Because now, listen, guys, I'm about to go to jail for I guess they call that robbery. I don't know what they call that if you say I tried to rob this mechanic shop or something. What he kept saying, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to face. So finally, we in there, everything. So they finally call my name, right? So they call my name, and they take me upstairs, right? So when they call my name, I get up. So I say what's to the Bronx dude. I'm like, yo, good looking. He's like, all right, because he's like, I might not be here when you come back. You know what I mean? Because they're going to ship him off to Rikers. So he's like, I might not be here when you get back. He's like, keep your head. I'm like, thank you, my G. You know what I mean? Thank you. So they take me out. So when they take me out, they take me out, they go to handcuff me, and they like, what? They go to grab my thing, like, damn, what? Blood everywhere. They was like, dude, it's like, why y'all got him in the cell like that? Why did y'all put him in this? He ain't supposed to be in the cell injured like that. He's supposed to be in medical, right? So he's like, how long you been there? I said, man, I've been there all day. He said, man, that's crazy. You could have got, I said, I know. They was ready to kill me in there. He's like, yeah, you could have got killed in there. I'm like, I know. So they like, oh man, we can't even handcuff you. So I was like, I can't even walk, dude. My back, I can't even move. And they would see me limping. They was like, all right. So it's like, all right, well, we just gonna take him up, right? So they grab something, they trying to wipe some of the blood, right? They trying to wipe it. So we go upstairs. So they take me up to the courtroom. So when you go up to the courtroom, it's people in the court. I guess people coming from outside court getting charges, right? So they take me up, and when they take you up, they take you out, and they take you through, and you got to come out from the jail part, right? So when they take me out, and then when they take you out, you walk, and then all the people that's in chains and then coming from the jail thing, they sit here and they wait for the judge to call them up to sentence them. Then you got the regular people in the courtroom, people with suits coming up that's already bailed out or whatever, going to court. So when they take me up, they walk me, and when they walk me up, I walk past, and when I walk past, the judge he looks up, and he look, and all you can see is this big bloody red thing, and blood is dripping in the courtroom floor, right? So they walk me, and then they sit me down. So they sit me down. So the judge is handling the case. So he's talking everything. He keeps looking up. So I realize that he's looking. So I go like this. I just sit it up because I realize I'm using my intelligence. I just sit my hand up like this, right? And I'm like, so he's handling the guy at the case in front of me, and he just keeps looking up. He got glasses on. He keeps looking over the glasses, and he keeps doing stuff, and he keeps looking over. And he realized blood is dripping all over his floor in the table. I did it on purpose, right? So I'm dripping the blood everywhere, right? So he finished the thing. So he finished the guy, he finished that. And then the bailiff say, all right, so next, he said, hold on. He said, get him up here. Get him up here. So they look him, yeah. So he told me, get up. I got up. So I walked up. Now I can barely walk, right? So they trying to help me walk. So right, so I walk up. Now blood is dripping everywhere. So he looked at me. He said, "What the hell happened to you?" It was the funniest thing in the world. I swear, I almost wanted to laugh but I'm playing a role, right? So I swear I wanted to laugh. His face, he said, "What in the hell happened to you?" Right? So I said, so the court-appointed lawyer, right? The what they call them, not an 18B, that's the paid one. The public defender, whatever, I forgot what they call when you got the one that they assign you. I forgot what they call it. So he goes to the paperwork. So he says, so before I could say, he said, what the hell happened to you? So the thing, he reads the paper and he said, well, Your Honor, he's being charged with robbery and the assault. I mean, whatever they call it, breaking, robbery. I forgot what it was, some robbery or something, whatever charge it is to rob the place. I think it was robbery. So he's like robbery of it was a car mechanic shop, and he got assault. He assaulted, he beat up. This was in the paper. He beat up the shop owner and he said he beat up the shop owner and he pressed charges for assault and battery and for the robbery for the shop, for the shop. So the judge looked and he says, he looked at his papers on his thing, right? So he looked at me and he says, "You beat up the shop owner?" And I look at him and I go, and he says, he looked at the lawyer, he said, "Is he dead? Is the shop owner dead?" He says, "No." I said, "Your Honor, he ain't dead. I ain't beat him up." I said, "Ain't nothing wrong with him." I said, "He actually just tried to steal my car. He took out a mechanic's liens. I just went to get a car inspection and I had my son with me. And I went and he tried to rob me for the car inspection and he tried to stab me. And so all of this, and then I was defending myself and he said, I need to hear no more. I need to hear no more." He said, "You need to be in the hospital." He said, "What's this?" He said, "All right, this is what we're gonna do. ROR means released on own recognizance." He said, "ROR, we're gonna make your court date. We're gonna make it 3 months from now because he needs to heal." He said, "All right, go home, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital." And he released me. And I said, now I didn't know the Most High. Now I'd be like, "Thank you, Yah." If it would have been me now, I'd be like, "Thank you, Yah." I'd have yelled it in the court. But back then, I didn't know the Most High. I didn't know God or nothing. I was a God by Sean, but I was just like, oh, I don't know. I might have said thank God, but I didn't really believe in God, so I didn't say that. I was a God body, but I just know I was so thankful. You know what I mean? I just was like, oh my goodness. And I could realize I get to go home. I get to so then I limped out. And when I went out, and then I had to make a call. So I you know what I mean? I went out, and so I realized I don't remember nobody phone numbers or none of it. So I'm kind of screwed, right? So I'm trying to find change for a phone, and I don't really remember nobody's phone numbers. So I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm like, I'm gonna have to find a way to walk home for real. So I'm like, I walk out the court. I sat outside. It was sunny. I was thankful that it was sunny. And Kew Gardens is way too far from Farmers Boulevard. For those from Queens, that's like driving a car. That's like just a half an hour. Walking is going to take me 2-3 hours. So I walk, and I got to walk to the bus on what is that? Kew Gardens with a courtroom. I forgot what that street is called. The big street. I forgot what it's called. So I walk out, and now I realize I ain't got no money for no bus or nothing. So I walk, and I go, and I get to the place where the buses is, and I see people standing, and I'm like, I got to do. So I walk up, and I just walk, and I'm looking. I've been there all day. I'm tired. I'm bloody. Blood is everywhere. I walk up, and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." I said, "I'm not a bum or anything." I said, "I was attacked. I was just in jail." I said, "I just want to go home, and I don't have no money. I don't remember nobody's phone number." So could you give me some money for the bus? I just want to go home. And the lady said, yes. When the bus come, I'll pay your fare. So the bus came and I got on the bus and she paid the fare, and the bus driver looking at me like, don't be dripping that blood all over. You keep your hand over your clothes. Don't be dripping that blood over my bus. I'm like, New York, that's New York. New York at its finest, right? Yes, Angela, look how the Most High saves. Absolutely. New York at its finest. So I'm like, okay, so I sit down, people moving, like nobody wants to sit next to me, blood dripping everywhere. So I sit down and I'm on a bus and I'm just like, man, I gotta go back to the hospital. You know what I mean? So then I'm driving. So I take the bus to Jamaica Avenue, and Mary Immaculate is right by Jamaica Avenue. So once I know to get off, so I got off the bus and I walked. And I could barely walk. I'm walking through the streets of Queens. I'm hot because it was hot. I'm sweating. I'm tired. I'm losing blood. I'm achy. And now I'm walking. I'm like, this is the worst day ever. Like almost ever in my life. Almost. So I'm walking. I get to Mary Immaculate Hospital. I go in there. They see me. The nurse, the nice nurse, the East Indian lady, she happened to see me. And she said, what are you doing here? I said, they took me to jail. The judge released me because that guy was lying. I didn't do nothing to that guy. And she said, I knew something was wrong with that. He was an a-hole anyway. So she said, come on. She said, forget that. I'm going to take you to the back. She took me to the back. She's like, she said, stay here. She went and got the other nurse. She said, y'all do this, do that, do that, do that. Take him. He should have had surgery and they did stitches and it'll never heal. So you do this, do this, do this. She said, and then she told me, she came back. She said, what I'm going to do for you. She said, I'm going to make them put this sealant thing on your wound. And I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this stuff. She said, I'm not supposed to do this, but I know you were done wrong. You were supposed to have surgery. She said, so what's going to happen is you're still going to be scarred for this for life and you're still going to feel pain. But what I'm about to do is going to allow it to heal properly. So you'll be able to function. You won't lose the function of your hand. She said, because if the way they left you, you were going to lose your hand. You were going to lose the function of your hand. You would have lost your mobility in your hand for the rest of your life. And I'm like, wow. And she did it. They came and they did this stuff sealing thing. They did this thing. And I never met the lady again, never saw again, never saw that doctor again, the one who never saw the guy from the Bronx again. These are things that the Most High sets in place, people and things that we don't know. He's sending things to assist us when we don't even know. And I remember I went out of there and then I had to go out of Mary Immaculate. I told the lady, I said, I have no money to get home. I said, I have money. And she said, I know. I look how I can see how you dress, right? I'm like, could you please give me money for the bus? Because I just need to get home. I really need to go home. My little son is there. She said, that was your little son with the guy, right? I said, yes. I said, I need to go home and see him. So she was like, I'm going to do you better. I'm going to call you a cab. And I said, I'll pay you back. She said, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay for the cab. You just go home. Just take care of your hand and make sure because you got a lot of healing to do, and take care of your son. And I said, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I could not believe it. She called me a cab. The cab came. I got in a cab and I went home. And I got home, and first thing I did was, before I went to my house, I went down the streets and I knocked on Bourne's door. And his pops came. And his Bourne wasn't there. And I told his pops, I said, tell Bourne, thank you so much. I said, tell him I said, thank you. Pops like, you all right? Who was it? I said, I get Crazy Dave. We get them guns. He said, who was it? We go kill him. We can shoot him now. They don't mess with us. We family. You family. Pops is no joke. I like, nah, Pops is all right. Nah, who was it? I already told Crazy Dave. He already got the guns on deck. Who was it? We going to get. I'm like, Pops, it's all good. It's all good. I said, it's all right, man. All right, nah, man. We going. I said, it's all right, Pop. I said, Born in here says, just tell Born I said, thank you. He said, you sure? Nah, man, I'm going to find out who it was. We're going to take care of this. So I said, thank you, Pop. And then I went on home. I went home, see my girl, see my little baby girl, little Ra. And I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I'm like, guys, I slept for like 2 days. I slept for like 2 days, literally. My body was so sore to the point where I wasn't able to walk. Once it really set in, once I slept for almost like 30 hours, like I slept literally for almost 2 days, literally. I just got up for her to give me some food. And then when I really tried to get up, I couldn't walk. I was like bedridden for a little while. It had to heal. My bruises on my back and my ribs, my lower back, my butt, my leg, that's when everything, my shoulder, you start feeling everything, knots here, everything. I was a mess. And I wanted to show y'all the picture, but I can't find out. But what I'm going to do on next week's story, I'm going to start the story off and I'm going to show y'all the picture of my hand when I had it in the bathroom. Yeah, that was part 1 of that story. And there was more that came from it, but I'll share that in a whole nother story another time. But now I guess I'm going to title this the first 3 hours we did. I'm going to title this story, The Worst Day of My Life. From Asiya, she wrote that. I'm going to title this story the worst, because it's not the worst day of my life, unfortunately, but it is definitely up there as the worst day of my life. I got to play the rest of these stories. We'll probably do that as a survey for when we get to a decent part of these stories that someone could figure out, like, that was still the worst day, because I don't know, but it ranks up there. Yes, Faye, the Most High was covering me. Yes, Diana, Yah uses everyone for his purpose. Asiya said, what a beautiful heart that nurse has. Yes, he'll send angels unaware. Angels could be in people. That just means children of the Most High who have a good heart and want to do the right thing. We don't know. That nurse could have literally been an angel. Get it? Now, this is how the Most High work, guys. This ain't no creepy stuff. This is for real. The Most High will send that woman to be an angel, and you go back to the hospital trying to look for her, and they be like, don't nobody about that to work here. Oh, yeah, that's for real stuff. Stuff like that. I got stuff like that I got going to come in stories. Real testimonies, stuff like that happened to me. Facts, where I could have went back, and they'd be like, nobody like that works here. What are you talking about? So, but I never went back. So I don't know if she was an actual angel or just an angel and a person, meaning a good-hearted, righteous person, like, good angel, angelic person. But yes, Most High will send helpers to help his children, even when you are unlawful, even when you don't really know who you really are yet. I didn't know that I was going to be Uncle Yahshua yet and have a ministry worldwide. That's what y'all see. A lot of y'all guys who watch this later, a lot of people in this live chat, that's from our ministry, and they're from worldwide. We had a brother on here. He's still here. Shout out to Mariaha, 11. He's still here. He's from the Netherlands. The Netherlands, Dutch, the Amsterdam, Netherlands. I got people from here, from the UK, from Canada. And shout out to my people from Connecticut, my people are 25 to life. But a lot of you guys you see here, they're from my ministry. Faye from New York. I got people from the South Bronx, Brooklyn, in my ministry. Uncle Yahshua Mashiach Assembly Ministry. And it ain't no stupid, that Hebrew Israelite stupid stuff, wicked stuff they on. It ain't none of that. It's the children of the Most High is popping. It ain't no boring religious stuff. It's dope. You think 25 to life is dope? Go to Uncle Yahshua Mashiach Assembly Ministries. You will get some good. You will learn who you are and learn the truth. That's the whole fact. So my people from our ministry they're joining me here, so I'm not here alone as we grow this 25 to life channel. So thank you, everybody from Mashiach Assembly. Thank you, Most High's children. Thank you for Charles Coleman and Louis V and everybody else, and Amar and everybody else who come and join us in the 25 to life. Thank you. I know this story was a little long, but That was a crazy. And as I said, to this day, this thing still hurts to touch right now. It still hurts. And when it rains, it gets bad. Sometimes it gets bad. All right, guys, another one down. Next week, I got a dope one coming. I'm going to release the Rolling Down 109 truck, and I got the story coming from that story of that truck and what was going on when we made that song and all that crazy story next week. Uncle Yahshua, 25 to Life Tales, another one down. I see y'all next week, Thursday, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Remember, keep the Most High first. Everyone, all right? We are children of the Most High in spirit and truth, and we're called to walk in righteousness. Take care of one another. We are not iggers. We're not slaves. We're not lower than everyone. Sorry for my other nationalities. I have to talk to the natural branch, to the Yah's children who are unawakened, who's still under the curses. Another foolish dude. I got someone for Akiana. He's from the UK. I'm gonna expose him. This foolish dude talking about we ain't under ain't no curses. This stupid journeyman dude. We used to be Issachar. Now you want to be some journeyman. I got that coming, Mashiach Assembly. This fool. They bought these fools. So some of my people still under the curses. You wonder why these things happen to you. Because we are children of the Most High, and we lost our first election from our wickedness our ancestors did. Put curses on our head. Go to Uncle Yahshua, Mashiach Assembly Ministries. Just type in Uncle Yahshua in Google. My ministry page will pop up. It's bigger than this page. Facts. Now, you'll learn who you are, whose you are, and learn to get the curses off your head and your children. Because your children are following generational curses from you guys. Us in the streets and living that life and all that with the bag and all that gang and all. There's curses over us, and your children are inheriting it. Facts. That's what I'm here for. That's why the Most High gave me all these testimonies to help others. I ain't glorifying the life. I ain't glorifying being a drug dealer and being rich and all that. It was a horrible time. But he gave you the testimony so others can be saved. The scriptures say others are saved by your testimony. So this ain't glorifying. It's just telling I'm literally writing my book right now. I just realized that too. I said, the Most High got me writing the book out live for y'all. Writing the book. Facts. More stories. Y'all think a lot more to come. All right. Uncle Yahshua, 25 to Life Tales. Mashiach Assembly, I'll see y'all tomorrow on our live Shabbat Bible study. Shabbat, shalom to everyone. Shalom is peace, guys, worldwide. Peace to the gods. Assalamu alaikum to the Muslims, Christians, hanging there. I don't know what Christians say, hanging there. Shalom to the awakened brews, and to anybody else, peace be unto you. Most High's blessings over you all. Uncle Yahshua, 25 to Life Tales. Keep it functional till we meet again. Love the Most High, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Now, everybody, y'all go. Hopefully, we went 3 hours, guys. May y'all have a blessed day. I love y'all all. For those, I see y'all next week on the live story. We out.
This is 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua. You wanna know why they call me Lucky Lucha? They call me Lucha cause I like to talk that choo-cha. All the time on the grind, getting that doochie. This is a little story on 25 to Life with Uncle Yahshua. Like and subscribe for more incredible stories every week.
Police are on the scene of a triple homicide on Long Island. It happened overnight at a home in Hempstead.
I'm from Hempstead, Parkside, the ghetto, the dog side, strong, the wrong, they think I'm supposed to run.